physical. It's time to talk some piss and more. We gonna talk about it all. DVD, CD, UHD, VHS, books, Blu-ray. Who knows, maybe you'll even see a laser disc today. Let's get physical. We wanna talk some physical media. Movies and TV, music and more. Come check out what we have in store. This is the Media House Stream. It's time for some physical media on FanZcene.
I know it was like really popular because it like won some Oscars and whatever, but
Jimmy does that.
It's got the Mighty Ducks guy. Got that guy.
No! Yes, but no! He's not the Mighty Ducks guy! It's Emilio Estevez! We're the Emilio! You can never have enough physical media. We're on stereo.
There we go. What's up? Hello, fellow followers. Welcome back to the Physical Media Show here on FanZcene or over on Midnight's Edge After Dark, Tom's new channel over there if you're coming in from over there. Greetings to you all and greetings to you, Tom. Glad to have you on here as always, as my partner in crime as it were. So how's everybody doing out there? How you doing? I don't know if you're back yet, Tom, or not, but how you doing? But let's go ahead and say hi to the chat real quick, and then we'll get it. Oh, there you are. Good. We'll say hi to the chat and see what's up. What's up, Brian Barth? Hail to you. Glad to see you out in the chat as always. You did manage to get the Killers of the Flower Moon and Tavarsky's Mirror from the Criterion Cell and Godfather on 4K. Nice. Good pickups. And what's up, Ace Hanlon? Howdy to you. Glad to see you. Yes, always buy physical media. It is the superior format. And what is up, Trevor Maurer? Says, hi, everybody. Another Looney Tunes Collector's Vault in September for me. I will keep buying while they still, there you go. Buy them up while you can. You know, all those Looney Tune collectors are coming.
What's up, Doc?
What's up, Doc?
That's a pretty nice Blu-ray set you got there. Mine! Oh, mine!
Yes. Good old Looney Tunes. Who doesn't like the Looney Tunes? What's up?
I say that boy drinks too much caffeine. Huh?
I say that boy ain't right. I do that all the time to the kids. It's just like that boy ain't right. That boy ain't right. Or that or the Hank Hill. Damn it, Bobby. What's up, Double Fett? Glad to see you. Howdy. It doesn't surprise me. Shop Factory has actually done this more so than any of the boutique labels. They've let these directors do that. They allowed it with Riddick and
there was another movie too, wasn't there?
Yeah, it was Riddick and one more. I can't remember the other one.
Oh gosh, what was it? Because I think you had pointed it out to me too, or I posted a thing about it. I remember passing it on to Andre as well.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was, but I personally never liked Pleasantville, so I was never really going to buy it.
It's all right, but yeah, it's not like it was a totally different movie. I'm trying to remember, and it really kind of caused me to go, "Are you serious?"
Exactly. I can't remember what it was.
What it was now.
It was kind of dumb that they removed something.
Anyway, maybe we'll remember by the end of this. Manhunter. Thank you, Bat Knight.
Yeah, Manhunter.
That's where I was like, "Are you serious? Come on, Michael Mann. Seriously."
Yep.
Leave it alone. I'm sure because there's like one or two times where they keep asking Dullard, I think, if he's a fairy or an F word. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's ridiculous that they're doing that on these. I bet
you that's what it is.
Yeah, it probably is. That's the problem now with some like boutique labels are become so popular, and these directors are doing this, but they're starting to let these directors like those who have the modern sensibilities now. Maybe I should remove this. Maybe I should do that. And you can't let them do that. You just can't let them do that. But what's up, John the Beagle Dad? Glad to see you as well. Hello to you, Davina Duckworth. I have the Pleasantville DVD too, but I doubt I'll upgrade. Yeah, I probably won't be going for it myself. Hell to you, Tim Hayes. Glad to see you too. Yeah, that's good old Shop Factory for you too, because I sold my Pleasantville Blu-ray a month ago. Now I got to repurchase it. There you go. Been there before. That sucks when that happens. Hell to you, Bat Knight says I pre-ordered Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein from Orbit DVD. Also, F. Chris Nolan. Yeah, I'm happy that Frankenstein's going to get in that. We'll get into those releases when we get into it. I'm glad because I do want to see it. I'm interested. So we'll see how that goes when I get it. Ahoy to you, Deeple. Glad to see you out there as well. And yes, as always, remember to like, share, comment on the video. It does help the channels immensely. Let's see, who else do we have out in chat? Hello to you, Corleone Rogue. Glad to see you out there as well, too. And hello to you, Carl 006 1999. Glad to see you out there, too. Coming to us from Midnight's Edge After Dark there. And then we have good evening to you. Live long and prosper. Tyrell72. Good to see you. What's up, Chode 90 February? Glad to see you. It's movie talk time. Hello to you. Yes, it is movie talk time. We're going to get into some good movies, hopefully. Let's see if my catching up. What is up, lovely Sherry? Hi to Greg and Tom. Yeah, two. Two. Yes, my name is Greg. I saw you last night over on Nick Wires' channel. You said you didn't know my name was Greg. So yes, my name is Greg. Glad to see you there out there, lovely Sherry. And then we also have D. Bud Martin. Last night he said he ordered Michael on Blu-ray, a new movie, and Derry Gerbil on DVD, a movie from 1931. Physical media always. Hell yeah. Never heard of the Derry Gerbil one. That's interesting. But welcome, one
Dirigible?
and all. Dirigible? Am I saying it wrong? Dirigible?
I don't know. I have no idea.
I'm saying Gerbil. I don't know. But glad to see you guys all out there as well. I hope you guys enjoy some physical media and get ready for tonight's show because we're going to have a good one. Let's just say some movies might be brought up that have been brought up multiple times on the channel.
We're gonna get it out of the way. And then we got more.
So with that, let's get into upcoming releases. What do we have for upcoming releases? I know
Criterion had a weird announcement. Outside of Frankenstein, it was a bunch of crap I never heard of and a couple of re-releases, it seems like.
I know, and I just bought Kino's 4K of Silence of the Lambs. And now Criterion's doing a 4K of Silence of the Lambs. So
they've done it before.
Did they?
This is not the first. Yeah, because I have
4K of Silence. I thought it was only
pretty
on Blu-ray.
fucking sure. I mean, it might have been a UK release, but I have I don't know. I have like 5 different versions of fucking Silence of the Lambs, man.
I know Arrow got the Arrow UK,
and that
4K.
I have that cover. I mean, I have the Blu-ray of that. That might be why.
Yeah, because I think Criterion's only ever put it out on Blu-ray, not 4K. But
maybe it was Arrow that put it out over in the UK. I don't know.
Yeah, Arrow put it out over in the UK on 4K. Yeah. But no, I'll probably stick with my Kino one. I think it's got most of those special features on it anyways.
There's a couple of things I think that are on the Criterion that are not.
Yeah. Get the Arrow or Criterion Silence of the Lambs, Greg. The Kino UHC has a... Oh, okay. Okay, I didn't know that. So, see, I wish somebody would have told me that. So I might upgrade eventually. All right, but what else?
I did, but...
Yeah,
because I brought it on a few times. You must not have been paying attention.
Yeah, you did, but
I'm gonna call you rookie tonight.
You did. I don't remember you mentioning anything about the picture though.
Well, speaking of sound, we got another thing that we're going to talk about that you didn't bring up about a movie that we're going to talk about that we've talked about 20 million times that you're probably referring to.
What's that, Tom?
I'm not going to say right now. When we get there, we'll get there.
So I know we got those were the Criterion ones. There was another Criterion one. I know there's rumors of a David Lynch box set.
Yeah.
From Criterion, and I'm also hearing that we may get a straight story. The straight story.
Nobody owns it now. Ha!
Yeah.
Fuck Disney.
Disney doesn't own it anymore. So yeah. So that may be coming from Criterion. I hope they release it separately because I pretty much own all the 4K.
I know, right?
Outside of Elephant Man and
that's the only other one I got to get yet. Yeah.
Eraserhead, which is not on 4K yet from them. Some of the only
I think I have it, but I think it's like a BFI or something like that. I think you're right. And
yeah,
I know I have all of them except for Elephant Man. I have Straight Story because I got that import.
You do, yeah.
It looks amazing. I think there's only 1 or 2 of his that I need to get yet, because otherwise I think I've got them all the ones I want. I need to see Lost Highway yet though.
Yeah,
I've seen it.
Great.
I seen part of it when I was younger and I just didn't get into it. I got to rewatch it.
Yeah.
Gosh, I'm trying to think of what other ones I might have missed of his. But yeah, there's no way. Just like the Kubrick box set, I've got all his shit 3 times over. I am not paying $500 for a fucking Blu-ray box set. You can suck on my dick. I don't care what extras are in it.
Yeah, that's what like I own them. I own them all on 4K except for those two, which like I said, Elephant Man has never been put on 4K in the States yet. So Eraserhead, I mean, hasn't been put on.
Are you
States
sure?
Yet.
It might.
Yeah,
I think
it's not on 4K and from Criterion or anyone yet. So, but yeah, so I'm looking forward to getting the straight story because I couldn't find the import. It's not available.
You still didn't get your hands on it? Oh.
Yeah, it's not available on Diabolic or Orbit or the other places I go to.
Probably have to Fleabay it by now, but you might as well just wait and see because they probably will release them separately.
I'm hoping so.
The only times that I can think of where they haven't has been like the Godzilla films when they did that big release. But they still might have released them separately. I'm trying to remember. Mm-hmm. They may have. So I might be even wrong about that. I was going to say some of the Kung Fu ones, but I think a lot of those even got released separately. So
yeah,
if I'm wrong out there in the chat, remind me. But yeah.
Yeah, so but like I know it's an interesting thing, and it's pretty funny that Disney lost the rights to that. So yeah, but I'm not.
I'm curious if they had the rights for years anyway, because it was I think was it released under Disney or was it released under Miramax?
Mm-hmm. I think it was well, it's got the Disney logo at the top.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, so it might have been just released straight up by Disney. Yeah,
straight up Disney. It's interesting. It's interesting.
Because for some reason that feels like the kind of movie that Weinstein would have brought in and go, this is gonna get us a bunch of fucking Oscars. God damn, Dave. Holy shit.
You would think.
Fucking masterpiece. But a guy on a fucking lawnmower. Fuck me.
David Lynch was like, see, I told you I could do it.
Yeah, I can make a normal movie. They think I'm too fucking weird.
And the fact is, everybody that's ever said was like, he was so normal in real life for the most part, other than, constantly drinking coffee, chain smoking, and painting weird pictures. They said he would
fit in right here.
Yeah, he would have.
And it sounded like he did like it here when he was here shooting. I wish I would have been around when he was doing it. I was in school at the time, so he was even farther away. But
yeah,
it seemed like I think I said it at the time. The thing with him doing that was like, a musician who you're always kind of curious is like, is he really a genius or is he just not that good and it just sounds weird or whatever, and he's just accidentally making things sound good.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, you don't think I'm good? And so then he just basically rolls this out. It's like a normal ass movie. And it's really fucking good. And it's like, so like, yeah, okay, so the guy is talented. He's just fucking with us any other time.
Yeah, he just wants to make what he wants to make.
Yeah, Twin Peaks is not a fluke. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you mean I can't shoot? The scene speaks for itself. It's got to go on. What do you mean I don't have 5 hours or whatever? He just wanted to do that. But outside of that, I don't think I saw much of anything else other than the Criterion.
There wasn't a lot of releases announced this week,
but
I haven't been paying as much attention as I normally do either.
I was looking. Let me look real quick.
I say Criterion has been really quiet lately. What speaking of?
Yeah, they have. Let's see what else.
They've been announcing a few things here and there, but
yeah, not much. The Human Centipede is coming from Umbrella Entertainment 4K. All 3 of them on a 4K box set. If you like the Human Centipede movies, so
not much.
Yeah, I'm not much into those. Oh, what's this? I don't know.
Kino's releasing Dream Team in Blu-ray. That was one of them. I was gonna say they had a couple that were announced that were Blu-ray only for some reason. There was that one and a couple other Universal titles that for some reason they're only getting.
This one, I don't know if this is confirmed, but I just saw this pop up here. It said coming from Arrow Video on 4K Extra from 1982.
Again? Well, I don't think they put it out yet, but I've got like 2 different copies of that already.
Yeah, so I saw that. That's not confirmed though. I just was scrolling. I'm looking through some stuff. Yeah,
I think Extra 2 is the only one that hasn't been released on Blu-ray yet.
Yeah,
so I have 3 and I have 1, and I have like 2 copies of 1, different versions. But yeah.
Yeah. Did we bring up Charlie Wilson's War, starring Tom Hanks and Philip Seymour Hoffman and Julia Roberts?
No, but I also saw that 54 is getting a release here too. I'm trying to figure out from whom though. Cinematography.
Yeah,
the one that through
get from Vinegar Syndrome.
Vinegar Syndrome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one for them.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that one in a tick.
It's been a while. But yeah,
of course we talked about Manhunter, of course,
Mhm.
which doesn't have a date yet, but
A date. Ooh. No. Yeah. I
I'm not
do wish
seeing much
David.
else.
Yeah, I wasn't seeing much else. I do think I wish David Lynch would have directed more. It's just he wanted to do what he wanted to do, and the studios weren't willing to let him do what he wanted to do. That's really all there was
He
to
wanted
it.
to live the art life.
Yep, he did. Which I mean, if you guys can get into it, I actually really enjoyed that documentary, The Art Life, because it really, like, even though it was about his art, his movie is his art, but it gives you a great insight into who David Lynch was and what he was actually trying to achieve with film.
Yeah, I
It
wasn't
was
sure what it was going to be either at first, but then he is just so interesting in general. Like you could sit there and
exactly.
listen to him talk about a pack of gum, and it would
Mhm.
probably be interesting. So like that was the thing with him, was he could find a way to make just about, and he would find things in scenes and bits and pieces here, and it wasn't in a weird perverted kind of way either, but he would find just quirky things that normal directors wouldn't,
Mhm.
and he would bring those things out in actors and scenes. And I just loved his casting all the time because he just loved real people,
Yeah.
right? Like, I mean, and it worked normally for his films. It's just he's definitely got a signature about him, and yeah, I don't want to spend that kind of money on a box set.
Yeah, I don't. I'm like, I own them all. I just need to get those two, and I need three. I just need the Straight Story, Elephant Man, and Eraserhead, and I'm good. And yeah, you're right. He did cast, like, even in Mulholland Drive, the guy that plays. I don't know if you've seen that one, but the guy that plays the cowboy
It's one of the
was
only ones I haven't.
yeah, he was not an actor. There's a guy that plays like this cowboy character. He's this weird character. Of course, David Lynch. He's this weird character. He was not an actor at all. I can't remember who he was. It's just David Lynch saw him and was like, "Yeah, you're gonna play the cowboy." And the guy could barely act or speak, so it's like he's so weird in the movie. And it works though. It works for the movie though.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah. Okay. So Lionsgate announced The Furious, Sing Street, and Descent Part 2. Okay, none of those really interest me, to be
I
honest.
would say those two of those are new, aren't they? That's why we
Yeah,
didn't really
yeah.
cover them. But yeah,
Yeah. Tom probably get the 4K of that one.
shut up.
Yeah.
No, I haven't even pre-ordered it yet. Actually,
No, Kino doesn't have the rights to 54, the Studio 54 movie. Tim, it's Tom's Cinematic Fatigue or whatever has it now.
maybe they did in the past, but I don't. I think the version I have is just a standard studio release of it.
Yeah. You'll find out tonight if Tom bought the whole Michael stockpile. You'll find out very soon, because I think we're done with the announcements and we're about to get into it. And what's up, Valentine Puppy? Glad to see you out there as well. Yeah, there you go. Here to support Tom. Anyway, always.
And I need all the support I can get. Trust me.
Yep.
I forgot my belt.
But with that being said, we're all caught up on there. That's about it for everything. Tom, do you want to go? I do have more than you, actually. I have 4 titles.
Why don't you start then?
Okay, so I'll go ahead and I'll get this one out of the way, since it's on the top pile. I watched Obsession, since I showed that off at the end of last week. I really dug this one. I thought this was a really good, solid horror flick. Come out this, it's something. It's nothing new. I know, I mean, it is an original movie, and it's not like it's just this movie. I couldn't have pointed to this movie and said, "Hey, this movie is going to be the movie that sets the box office on blaze, and everybody's going to love it, and it's going to be this big, huge movie that nobody expected." I couldn't have pointed to this as that, because it's a monkey's paw story, right? So it's a monkey's paw story about this guy whose name is Bear, who wishes that his crush Nikki Freeman loved him more than anything in the world. And the thing is, he doesn't know it's going to work, because he gets this thing called a one wish willow. He doesn't know it's going to work. He doesn't believe it's going to work, and then it works, and shit goes bad quickly. And if like the woman that plays Nikki, India Navarrete, which I hope I said her name right, is absolutely incredible in this movie. She steals this movie. She makes this movie. I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. This, even though it's like this thing, like a Gen Z horror movie, it almost felt to me, after rewatching it this time, it kind of felt like a one of those 90s erotic, not, well, it's not erotic because it's really nothing erotic about it, but like one of those 90s like thriller, couple thrillers movie, right? You know, whereas like something happens between these couples and everything, but with that supernatural twist of the wish that the guy makes. It's a really solid film. The 4K looks good. There's not much for special features on the 4K. There is a 19-minute conversation with the director and the actors and actresses that talk about the movie, which is pretty good. That's really good. And then there's a feature commentary, but it looks really, really good. Yes, that's be careful what you wish for, or in this case, be careful who you wish for. It says, but it is really good. It's a really solid flick, I thought, and I just there's not much. I mean, I don't know what else to say about it because I know Tom hasn't seen it, and I don't know. And even though it's like one of the most watched movies, it's still a fairly new movie, and I don't want to spoil it for people who's out there watching who hasn't seen it yet. So I'm trying to just talk about it in the general thing. I have not seen Backrooms yet. I do want to see Backrooms. I know. Speaking of which, the Backrooms did announce there is a 4K coming in August. There's one. Backrooms is coming to 4K in August. You can get it on the A24 website. I don't know about main releases. So yeah, I couldn't tell you. Obsession was way better. Backrooms was great to look at though. So yeah, I've heard some people like Backrooms better. Some people like Obsession better. I think that's a great thing for movies in general is that these two movies succeeded and there's a conversation about which movie is better. I really do dig that. Yeah, the Blu-ray is pretty cheap, Christopher Barker there. The Blu-ray is pretty cheap. It's actually cheaper to buy the Blu-ray than to actually rent it or even buy it on digital. So always buy your favorites on physical media. Always buy your favorites on physical media. I really dug this. But once again, this movie is like there is a conversation going on about the main character of Bear, whether or not he's the villain or not, which I do believe he is the villain of the movie. But I do think some people are taking it to extremes. And that's like the modern horror crowd that I cannot stand, where they're like, they see this movie and they're like, oh, all men are bad. And, and they're the type of people that loved Scream 5 and 6 and stuff like that. And you're like, you guys are totally missing the whole point of this whole movie because like every character in this movie isn't good. They're all bad people. They're all except for maybe Nikki, because you never really get to know much about who Nikki is because you only get to know like maybe 5 or 10 minutes of who the real Nikki is before the wish kicks in and she becomes this batshit crazy girl, right? But all these characters are flawed and bad, and it just devolves into this horrible situation. And I don't know, it was done in a great way with the monkey paws type story and everything that I really enjoyed. But yeah, there's my first pick of the night. If you guys have seen it, check it out if you haven't seen it. Yeah, exactly. That's like even the director has talked about, like he wanted to make this, even though it's a wish thing and all that, he wanted to make this where like these it's one of those, like he even told the actress, he's like, play it like a crazy girlfriend. Don't play it like she's possessed. Don't play it like it's a demon, because they wanted to make clear she is not possessed. She is not demon. Even though this isn't the real Nikki, he wanted her to play it up to where it's like she was this crazy, obsessed girlfriend and stuff like that. And so, but of course, it almost gets like Evil Dead near the middle. And I know some people found this movie funny and laughed at it. And like the director, Kerry Barker, actually comes from YouTube and he comes from comedy. And he said he was a little surprised about some of the ways where some of the people laughed at, but he liked it because he thinks there's this great little connection between horror and comedy. And so like, even though he's trying to scare people, if you laughed at it, I don't think that he said he don't think that's a wrong reaction as well. So because you're putting these people in these insane circumstances, sometimes it is funny when something scary is happening and you don't know what to do. Like you really don't know what to do. So sometimes maybe you laugh at it instead of being scared at it. I mean,
I can almost kind of guess it's pretty much Fatal Attraction, but he just wishes that this chick was obsessed with him, and so she literally becomes obsessed with him, is my guess.
Technically, he's the one obsessed with her. You really don't know how she feels about the real her. You don't know.
No. I mean, until after he makes the wish. I mean, like, I'm sure the wish is, he's basically like, I wish she was obsessed with me.
Yeah. Like he's like, he says, I wish she loved me more than anyone in the world. So that's the wish. Yeah. But you're not wrong. That's why I'm saying it kind of feels like one of those, like you just mentioned. What was that movie? It's already
Fatal Attraction.
Fatal Attraction. Yes, it feels like one of those '90s like type of movie. That's what it sort of feels like when I was watching it again this time. It's like kind of like a Fatal Attraction, except this time it's kind of against this girl's will. She's not the one in control of the situation here.
Right, which was what makes, in a modern setting, makes this guy a bad guy.
Yeah, exactly.
If this movie was made 40, 50 years ago, I mean, yes, you would blame the supernatural, whatever, possession on the chick, but, I mean, it would still just be like a normal thing where a guy would be like, oh, man, I just wish she was into me. And then, she's into you, all right, too into you, yeah.
And the thing in this movie, though, is they do a great job with this character where it's like, he's not Michael, what's his name? He's not Michael Douglas, that's for sure. There comes a point in the movie
that's
where
what I mean, yeah.
Yeah, there's points in the movie where he's starting to realize that the wish is taking effect and this is not right. And he has opportunities to do the right thing, and he doesn't because he's so like, what's wrong with me? Why don't you want to be with me? Right. So that's where he really becomes the villainous character, and everything that she does is his fault. But it's a really solid movie. It's actually a very solid movie. So, I know you haven't seen it, and I didn't really want to spoil it much of it for anybody else who hasn't seen it. So that was my first pick. I don't know if you want to do another one or if you want me to do another one.
I can do this one real quick because, like, I didn't watch the whole movie, but I did check out. Now,
what is this movie?
Scream 4 for those who are just watching and not to watch. They're just listening, not watching. Why is my camera so fucking close? Oh, that's why. I was on 480p. But yeah, so I finally got this in the mail.
Nice.
Now, is there a handful of special features? Where did this handful of new special features come from? Was it made directly for this?
I think it's the Lionsgate, because it says that the Lionsgate limited special features.
Yeah, because or did they release another version of this that we missed at some point? Because those seem a little old-ish, but they seem like they were shot during Scream 7 or 6 or 5 or whatever, one of the sequels, but I don't know. Anyway, so the big thing about this one was how does it look? All that kind of business. It looks all right. You can definitely tell it's an upconvert of a 1080p source, but it looks better than the old Blu-ray.
Mm-hmm.
The Dolby Atmos soundtrack sounded pretty good from what I listened to, but you didn't bring up that, and I didn't even know about this. This has the UK 5.1 mix.
Oh yeah,
I guess it has different dialogue and shit in there.
See, that I didn't know.
Yeah, so I have no idea about that. So it's a pretty nice package. Got all the legacy features and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I wish they would have went back and rescanned the film proper, so it looked nice, and then we could maybe get more movies like that, so people would see a big difference in the improvement. But yeah, I can see where people are upset because it has like a staticky look to it.
Yeah. I wasn't a fan of this either. Like the Lionsgate way it moved in from Lionsgate into it instead of the Dimension logo.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I guess that didn't bother me as much, but that always bothers me when they do that.
Yeah. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Leave it alone. But no, there really wasn't much else I had to say on it other than that. I just know that some people were upset with how it looked. I mean, yeah, what are you going to do? I mean, unless they went back and rescanned the original film and recut it together like they should have in the first place, then what else are you going to do? So
right. Yeah.
It is what it is. Considering how long it took them to get it out, you'd think they would have. Because I thought that was the big delay was they couldn't find the negatives or whatever, or they couldn't figure out where the masters were. And all they had was the 2K DPI or whatever. But then, I thought they were looking for a better source. And I thought they had found one. But then, yeah, it turns out that's not the case. So I don't know what the hell took them so long.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's okay if you like the Blu-ray.
Honestly, there's no real reason to upgrade it if you don't want to. Yeah,
if you don't want to upgrade, you can. It's all good.
Unless you want the special features.
Yeah. And I know, the regular Scream 4, the one that they're selling, the regular one doesn't have the Lionsgate limited special features, so that's the only big difference. And there's not like a whole lot extra, is it? If I remember correctly, it's been a minute since I rewatched.
Oh, is that what's on here? No, it's literally there's this one chick, I don't even know who the fuck she is, talking about the movies. And it's like, who is this person and why should we give a shit about what they say? And then there's and what movie was it that what's her face got killed in? The female cop that's in this one the first time?
Oh, she gets killed in 5.
Okay, so that's my guess is that they shot all that stuff during 5.
They probably did.
Because otherwise she didn't come back, because it's all her, and they got Dewey for like 5 seconds, and all the kids from 4.
Yeah.
Except for Emma Roberts and shit like that.
Yeah.
So I'm going, okay, so this was some kind of reunion thing they had done probably around the premiere of Scream 5 or something like that is my guess.
Probably.
And these are the only people that were around from Scream 4 that they could grab that would actually say anything, because they couldn't get Nev to say anything. That's where I was wondering maybe it was Scream 6, but then I'm trying to remember which one Judy died in. Judy, that's her name.
Yeah.
Because she dominates the one.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's like a whole other one here, because there's like I think 3 or 4. There's the meta of Scream, which is that chick explaining what meta. It's so fucking stupid.
Yeah.
And then rebooting the franchise, which it's all right. It's like a little 20-minute thing with all, like, that's the one I was talking about that has mainly Judy and the kids from 4.
Yeah.
And then you got Ghostface revealed, which I swear I've seen this one before.
It might be on there.
I don't know, but I swear, or something similar to it, because yeah, it's got Roger, what's his face, just talking about the voice.
Wonder if it's like excerpts from that documentary that they have.
That's what I'm starting to wonder too. You're right, because then they have this stuff with Wes Craven where it's like his last interviews and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that one was a little bit more whatever, like, but that's, again, a lot of that stuff I'm like, I've seen this stuff before, a lot of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that was kind of like, oh, you know, whatever. I mean, I'm not gonna bitch too much because we haven't really gotten much new on other than a retrospective shit on most of them anyway. So like I said, my whole thing is what took so long, considering they didn't do anything more than just upconvert the fucking 2K DPI. So yeah.
Yeah.
And a Dolby Atmos remix.
It's insane. Yeah. But okay.
But I like the steelbook that it matches the rest, unlike part 3.
Yeah, part 3, just a redheaded stepchild. Legitimately, the redheaded stepchild. I only have steelbooks for 1, 4, and 7 is the only ones I have steelbooks for. So, and I don't plan on buying 5 or 6 ever, because I hated those movies.
I mean, I don't mind that 3 looks like that. It's cool, but it should have been like to where they would have come up with a uniformity, where like the first 3 were a certain color, the next 3 a certain color, and then the new ones that come out were something. Yeah.
All right.
But we'll talk about steelbook nightmares here in a little bit.
Yep. All right, you want me to go for another one?
Yeah, there's not much. I don't want to drag that out. We've talked about Scream 4. Put this motherfucker to bed for now until there's another Scream.
We're done. Let's put one part 8.
Can you even still get this at Lionsgate Limited? I can't remember.
I don't know. I haven't been on there to check. So
I know they sell out quite quickly, and we'll get into that again later too.
I know the whole Bloody Affair sold out insanely quick. All right. Well, keeping it on a scary movie track, I watched, which I doubt you've seen this one as well, a movie called Where, about werewolf.
Why? How?
Where? Why? How? When?
Knowing you, I wasn't surprised. It had something to do with a werewolf.
It's a werewolf. It's an interesting take on the werewolf genre. It's a bit different. It's not quite a werewolf. It's this was where they
Wendigo.
No, it's like where does science and supernatural meet is the thing. So what the movie is about is it takes place in France, and there's been a brutal killing of this family, an American family that was out like camping, an animal attack, and then they think that as they investigate it, that it was a man, and this man is like this 7-foot tall man covered in hair. You know, he's got like from body, he's like this massive man, right? So they arrest him and say that he did it. And so this blonde woman here who's an American, goes to defend him because she doesn't believe it's true. She believes it's an animal. She assembles this team to set this man free. And in the process, guess what? This man is in fact something different, and he breaks free and he starts killing all these people and everything when the moon comes out. And he becomes like this werewolf. He doesn't like fully change. There's no like werewolf change, but like he's this. It's like they go into like where does science and supernatural meet, because the moon is affecting him. The full moon is affecting him. It's making him stronger. It's making his bones and stuff change, like he's changing into something. He gets teeth and everything, and he can't be killed. He can't be stopped, and he's like a wolf, right? So like, and then like, so they go back to like the moon and lunacy and lunatics and how it connects to that and everything. And like somebody on her team gets scratched by him, and he starts to become something. So that's basically the plot of the movie. So it's much more like a science-based film. I do prefer a supernatural curse werewolf, but I don't hate this film. It's not like an amazing, outstanding film, but I do enjoy this movie. It's something different. It's something different that I liked. I do like where they at least like that they tried something different. So yes. If I could, I wonder if I could play the trailer. Let me see if I can play the trailer. So you guys know exactly.
It looks cheap enough; they might not bother you.
Yeah, it's a cheap movie. I'm not gonna lie, it's a cheap movie, guys.
It looks like it. Yeah.
It's not.
Which is funny because I think that part of what Werewolf is going to be about is kind of similar ground.
Yeah, that's why I watched it because
I'm curious if we're actually even going to see a werewolf in Werewolf. So I'm kind of prepared for that because Andre was kind of talking a little bit about it too, and he thinks it's going to be more about how where science ends and supernatural begins, but it's more about superstitions and.
Yes, that's what I was kind of worried about myself. I'm hoping it's a werewolf, but yes, I could see that. I could see that. Come on, what's going on here?
What happened?
I hit play and it blew up the picture before I shared it.
Oh,
so yeah,
like,
okay.
You're still here.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna share this and we'll see if we can.
Underwearwolf.
Underwearwolf.
I should steal that.
You ever hear that film, Greg? What film was it? Did I miss it? What did he talk about? Oh, the Brotherhood. Yeah, I have the Brotherhood of the Wolf. That's what you're talking about. I didn't like that one. I did like that one.
Oh, you did? Oh, I thought
it's not a werewolf movie though.
That's what it was. That's what. Yeah. You said,
yeah. But okay, let's see if you guys like this. Yeah, it's probably just a me movie. So but I wanted to watch it because of werewolf trailer. There you go. I will say they do use the shaky cam a bit in that, and it does get a little annoying with that. But other than that, I didn't hate the movie. I didn't hate it. It's not horrible. Yeah, it's cheap, and I'm not gonna lie, it's a cheap movie. It's a cheap movie, but it's not bad. It's not bad as far as I'm concerned. I hope he does do better than a werewolf. I do hope we see a werewolf, but I do kind of see after watching the trailer and watching this that it may be similar to where this man thinks he's a werewolf. So we'll see how that plays out. Hopefully it's good. Are you on Chrome? Oh no, yeah, I'm on Chrome, but it's not. I'm good. Does Tom have the commitments on DVD or Blu-ray?
I don't think I do. I used to have the VHS though. It's been a long time since I've seen that movie.
Nice. All right. Well, there was my little cheesy, cheap werewolf movie for the day. So, like I said, I'm probably just a me movie. Not many people are gonna like that movie.
It looked interesting.
That. I mean, I love where they were going with it. With this, I think in better with more budget and a better director, it probably could have been a much more solid film. But I did like the idea. But I'm a traditional werewolf guy. I like the curse and all that stuff. So yeah. No beer needed. Yeah, there you go. All right, Tom, you only have those left, right? So
no, I got one other one. Yeah.
Oh, you have another one? Okay, good. Go ahead. Good. Do what you got.
Pop quiz, hot shot. What was the first movie from Fox that Disney released in 4K? Speed.
Speed.
With one of the dumbest covers ever.
Right? Can't believe you shot me in the leg.
Take the hostage out of the equation. No, that's a great fucking film. I just got it up my butt. I was gonna watch it again. It's a summer movie, summertime. I wanted a popcorn flick.
There you go.
It's Die Hard on a bus, but it's so much better.
It is. It's so much better than those typical. This is Die Hard on a block. This is Die Hard. It's so much better than one of those movies.
I'm gonna speed it up. It's a great film. A lot of fun. Jan de Bont did a good job directing it, and it just flows, right? Like, I mean, the movie does not stop from the moment it starts. Mark Bancina does a great job with the soundtrack. So it's got a kind of that feel of a lot of the Bruckheimer films, even though it's not one. The movie kind of put Sandra Bullock on the map, believe it or not. Most people don't remember. It was during Keanu's first comeback.
He's resilient. He's like a
He
cockroach,
is a
man.
resilient, and it looks great. I mean, I was glad
Yeah,
because
the 4K does look good.
they didn't seem to fuck with it too much. It's got a nice natural grain look to it. Again, they just transferred over the 5.1 mix, which I'm sure has been the same since the original release. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure. Yeah, no, it's just a fun overall flick. If you haven't seen it, it's about a bomber who's very unique in what he likes to do as far as set up his bombs, and Keanu Reeves and Jeff Daniels play these bomb squad experts with the big city bomb squad. Do they even say what city they're in ever in the movie?
I think it's Los Angeles, right? It's
Yeah,
Los
I think you're
Angeles,
right. I think it's just Los
Yeah.
Angeles. I don't think they ever really specified necessarily, but it's pretty obvious. I
Yeah.
think they go into LAX or whatever too.
Yeah, they go to LAX airport. and
Yeah.
everything.
So and it starts out, of course, that this guy who sets up a bomb in an elevator, and from there the guy gets upset because they fuck up his whole plan, and so he targets Keanu Reeves' character, who was one of the cops who spoiled his original plan,
Mhm.
and he does this by setting it up to where a city bus, once it hits 50 miles an hour, cannot go below 55 or whatever, or it'll explode. So it's a real simple setup. And of course, he lets, the cop know this is what's going on, and, blah, blah, blah. So he can put him
Yeah.
into the mix, of course. And it's just a great, it's definitely a Die Hard type movie. If
Mhm.
anything, it's more of a Die Hard with a Vengeance type movie than it is a Die Hard movie, right? Like, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Because Die Hard with a Vengeance kind of rewrote the game a little bit. And I think that those two came out pretty close together from my memory. So, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Is-
Sandra
yeah.
Bullock did get some help from Demolition Man, but this one put her on the map as a star.
Yeah, this is like Demolition Man helped her get this role where she became. This is the movie that Sandra Bullock is now a star.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because Speed 2, she got a huge fucking payday for,
Yeah.
and she started starring in rom-coms and other things after this, The Net, and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
So, yeah.
I've heard of Speed. I own Speed. I own the 4K Speed. I've heard of Speed. It's a great movie. I saw Speed in theaters. It's one of those, just like you said, it's one of those great popcorn action flicks that you like. Just like, we don't really get a lot of those type of movies anymore. That's what I want to see. Some of those type of movies make a comeback. Because like what I was talking about with Obsession felt, like I said, felt sort of like, why can't I remember the name? Like those movies, like Sleeping
Fatal
with the
Attraction,
Enemy,
yeah.
Fatal Attraction, Sleeping with the Enemy, Hand That Rocks the Cradle.
Mhm.
Felt something similar to like that, even though it's put in the horror genre.
Yeah.
So we're missing these action movies, sort of like these type of action movies that's not full of bloated CGI where it's related.
But we're getting the Odyssey, though.
Yeah, with a little Elliot Page running down the sand in some armor.
I've heard it's so boring. There probably isn't much action in it anyway.
I've heard that she actually, even though she's not playing Achilles, she basically is Achilles for the movie.
Yeah, the same type of character. Yeah,
Yeah.
Sitting or whatever. But yeah, no, I mean, I'm pretty sure this is still available, but you definitely pick it up if you haven't yet. I can recommend it as far as 4Ks go. Yeah, because I'm pretty sure Fox did all the work on this, honestly.
Yeah, I think it was one of those, because they did Die Hard and Speed, and I think they had that ready when.
Speed was ready to go, yeah.
Yes.
So I think you remember Robert Meyer Burnett saying that.
Yeah. Yes, I do. I'm a huge werewolf fan. I love Teen Wolf. I own that movie as well. There's probably not a werewolf movie I don't own. I do need to get some of the Howlings though. Tom had all the Howlings, but most of them have to be imported if I remember correctly. Yeah. So,
A lot of
yeah,
fun.
there you go. So you said it's still available. Bat Knight just bought it. He just bought it off Amazon. Speed.
I was pretty sure.
Okay. Yeah.
It wasn't like a limited or anything. I don't even know if they ever did I don't think they ever did a steelbook or anything like that either, which is kind of sad.
Yeah, it's just that. But then again, this did come out before they started all the steelbook craze and everything like that.
True.
So,
True.
yeah.
Surprised they haven't re-released it with a steelbook.
I'm surprised, especially with the way they're doing things like that lately.
Right.
So, yeah. But no, Speed is one of those all-time classic films. It really helped Keanu Reeves get his career on track and everything and all that good stuff. So it I think outside of what was it we talked about last night, that Point Break in this was like his first entries into 90s. And Point Break helped really make him become a action hero.
This
and
kind of
really
solidified him as
it.
yeah. Kind of sent him down the path of, okay, now I'm going to do action films.
Yeah.
And he did for a while, and kind of led to Neo, basically, because it's like, he's only a few years away from doing that when he did this.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's a fun film. I mean, Dennis Hopper has also kind of been a comeback mode in this movie too, because I think this was the first movie he shot sober, if I remember correctly.
No, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2.
Okay, Texas Chainsaw 2. That's it. Yeah,
that was the first movie because.
But he was also this is probably in between a relapse or so. Who knows with him? But no, he was impossible to work with a lot of times. But I don't remember too many stories about this one because I think he learned to behave by this point.
Yeah. That's what what's her name said from Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. Yeah. The actress Caroline Williams played Stretch. It was like she showed up thinking that he was going to be the crazy one on set for Texas Chainsaw, and he was great. He was well behaved. The guy that played Chop Top was the one that was insane in real life.
Right.
So, yeah.
That's all I really have to say. I mean, if you haven't seen it already, I mean, come on.
Yeah, it's an incredible movie. I mean, seriously, if you've not seen it and you're a big fan of like Die Hard and Keanu Reeves, you definitely need to check out Speed. I don't think there's most people that have missed out on this movie though, right? There you go. That's from the David Lynch movies, the Blue Velvet. I'll fuck anything that moves. Dennis Hopper. One of the greatest, worst villain characters of all times. That was another movie he did. Speaking of which, when he was sober, is like they told him actually not to take that role in Blue Velvet because they said there's literally no redeeming qualities to this character, and you're trying to make a comeback. You shouldn't play somebody like that.
Right.
Like, no, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. So he did it.
Shit in it.
Yeah. So, but anyways, that you want me to go on to my
go for it. Yeah, like I said, there's not much else I can say about Speed that I haven't already in a million years. I'm sure I brought it on before too when it first came out.
All right, so I watched one of my Criterions I just recently bought. I watched Defending Your Life with Albert Brooks and Meryl Streep. I haven't watched this movie in like I want to say 20 years.
Never actually seen it.
Never actually seen it. It's a pretty solid flick. I enjoyed it. I mean, I've seen it before, but it's been, like I said, it's probably about 20 years since I've seen this. So Criterion, it's an all right. It's not like it comes from a 4K digital restoration. So it doesn't, I mean, it looks good. It's just Blu-ray. It's not 4K. So what is this movie about for anybody who wants to know? Albert Brooks plays this like yuppie businessman guy who dies in a car crash. He hits a bus, and this movie is about where you go after you die. It's a very different take on afterlife. He goes to this place called Judgment City, where
that bus didn't happen to be going over 55 miles an hour because there was a bomb on it.
He was from LA. So that's where he was. So yeah, he goes there, and it's like he's going to have 4 days in this city or 5 days in this city where you go after you die, and they basically put your life on trial and to see if you're smart enough or if you've done well enough in your life to move forward into the next stage of wherever you go. After, they say it's the universe. It doesn't really get religious with it. It's just like, if you're judged that you can continue, you go on and become a citizen of the universe, basically. But if you're not, you get sent back down to earth and you do it again as somebody else to see if you do better this time. And so he's got to defend his life. And meanwhile, while he's there defending his life, he meets Meryl Streep's character, who is also recently dead, and they strike up a relationship. And it's all about this. It's this really great movie about facing your fears, really. What it's really about is facing your fears, not so much about the afterlife or anything like that, because it's, it's just like showing this guy his life about how he was always afraid to do this or he was afraid to do that, and about basically facing your fears and moving on in your life. That's really what this movie is. It's not really about the afterlife. It's just about like, man up and shit, do that stuff like that. So yeah, that's basically what it is. Rip Torn is great. Yes, Rip Torn plays his lawyer. absolutely fantastic in this movie. He's hilarious, and the thing is, like, the people there that like basically run it is like they're so smart. Like, he uses 48% of his brain. Albert Brooks only uses 3% of his brain. And he's always telling me, like, you still don't get the big brain part, do you? It's because he's always smarter than him and say stuff. He's great. He's hilarious in this movie. But no, it's a fun little movie. I think you might dig this, Tom. I think you might dig this if you like Albert Brooks. That's basically where I could go from this. That's about all I have for that. But it's a fun movie. I really enjoyed it. I bought this from the Criterion sale that Barnes & Noble is having, which is still going on. This is only on Blu-ray. There's no 4K of it yet. So I don't know if they ever will. Yeah, it is an Afterlife movie, but it's
I haven't
interesting.
seen that one.
It's,
And I like some of Albert Brooks's films, but like shit like Mother, I couldn't stand.
yeah, Mother was not. This was probably my favorite Albert Brooks film, to be honest with you. Basically, what this movie is, it's funny though, is like when you die, you go to this city. It's very much like a yuppie afterlife. Like, you can tell he's from LA and a city and everything, because like when you die, you go to this city that's very much like a yuppie. Like, there's lawyers and there's shopping and there's steakhouses and stuff. It's like, it's very much still like you're in a normal city. Like, you're going to tell me that somebody from the South who works on a farm or something is going to go to a place like that? Yeah, it's very white collar. You can tell it comes from a very white collar thing, but it's done in a very great, fun, entertaining way, in my opinion. Yeah, there's a nice looking young man over there. Hi, how'd you die on stage like you? Yeah, that's a great part of the movie. But anyways, yeah, there you guys have it. There's that. Do you want me to do my last one before you go into yours?
It doesn't matter one way or the other. If it's up to you how you want to do
Because
this.
I mean, it's a music biopic by Lionsgate, but it's not the ones you have.
Okay.
So I mean, it could be a good segue for you.
Depends on if you want to go last or if you just want to go again real quick. That's up to you.
Yeah. I don't know, because the Michael talk's going to be pretty long, isn't it?
I don't know. You saw some of it finally. So.
I saw some of it, and I figure you're going to. I'll just go ahead and do mine, because once again, I know it's a movie you haven't seen, and it gives me a chance to talk about it, and then we can get in, because at least I've seen half of Michael. So, yeah. All right. Speaking of music biopics, I finally watched I Can Only Imagine Part 2. And I don't know what it is about these movies. I know they're Christian movies, but I really dig these I Can Only Imagine movies. They're that type of entertainment that just I don't know, they're just like this sweet entertainment. Sometimes you just want to watch good people have good things happen to them. You know what I mean? And they're not overly religious. They don't like push that in your face. It's more about the human experience and how what they go through and how they keep their faith even though they go through a lot of things. Now this one, because the first movie is about this guy he plays, Bart Miller, the lead singer of Mercy Me, who wrote the song I Can Only Imagine. The first movie is about his life and how Dennis Quaid played his dad, who was abusive, did bad things to him, and then he found God and he completely changed and became a really good person. And his son went on to become this big Christian singer and created the song I Can Only Imagine. And it's like the biggest Christian song ever that crossed over into pop culture and played on real like pop music and rock music and stuff like that. Now this one is about the second song he wrote many years later. That's the second most popular Christian song ever made, and it's called that song is called Even If, and it was helped written by this guy, Milo Ventimiglia from Heroes and This Is Us, plays a guy called Tim Timmons, who is a real man who lives with the stage 4 cancer. Who lives with the stage 4 cancer, and he's always wanted to write like a song and everything. And he becomes the band's opening act, and he starts making friends with the main guy and his son, who also has like type 1 diabetes, really bad diabetes, and they sort of all connect through this pain they've gone through. And they write this song called Even If, and it becomes like the second biggest hit for this band. It's like I said, there's nothing. It's not like a Michael Jackson biopic. It's not like it's just something like that. But it's fine. I find these movies very interesting in the fact that they're done in a way where they're not just like all in your face. I mean, like, I'm a believer, I'm a Christian and everything, and I do appreciate when they make a movie that's just like, you know, you gotta believe, list this, if you do this, you're bad, you're bad. This movie is like, they come out and they tell you, like, sometimes life sucks. Sometimes you do things you're not supposed to. Sometimes things happen to you, but you know, even if that's where the song comes from, like, even if this stuff happens, as long as you still have faith and keep on going, everything will be all right, even if bad stuff happens. So I really enjoy that in these movies. So yeah, that's I'm glad they put this out. And then this, once again, this is a Lionsgate thing. This one didn't do as well as the first movie, and you can tell they put way more money into this movie because, like, they cast Milo Ventimiglia, whatever, as the other guy, and it feels much more theatrical than the first movie. The first one feels a little more indie type film. This one is definitely much more theatrical. It's sadly, I don't think it did very well in the theaters, but like like Dennis Quaid makes another cameo in this and a flashback as his dad and everything. And it's just a solid movie. I don't know. It's a really solid movie. I enjoyed it. Where you at, Six? Where you at? You sent me a pic. I'm going to have to look into that. I thought you was coming to the show tonight to join us. I'm going to have to see this, okay. Tom, I might have a little something to go along with you if you're going to do what you're going to do.
She sent a bikini pic.
I wish, but she did send me a digital code to give away on the stream tonight.
Oh, did she?
Yes.
Because I just gave away 2 codes on X.
Yeah, and
I'm going to. I picked my winners. I'm just waiting for them to get back to me. But yeah.
Yeah. And thank you, Six, for sending that way and everything. I don't know where you're at. I thought you were supposed to join us tonight. Yeah. So, yeah, sometimes the storm has to rage before the sun can shine. That's what I really liked about this movie. But anyways, I can do that. I can give that real quick if anybody wants. How do I do this?
How about you do a trivia thing in the chat here?
Yeah, because this code will be for Scream 7.
Oh.
If you guys want Scream 7.
Who was the first victim in Scream?
That's an easy one. No, actually, no, it's not. No, that is a good one. That is a good one.
Who is the first murder victim in Scream?
Whoever can figure out who was the first, put it in the chat, who was the first murder victim in the very first Scream movie, you will get the digital copy. I believe it's a 4K digital copy as well for Scream 7. If you follow me on Twitter or X, whatever you call it, I can send it to you that way. If
do you have an email?
If not, yeah, you'll have to email me. It's in my thing here. Is fanscenevids@gmail.com. You can email me there. But the first one to answer it correctly.
Sorry, Steven. Steve's the wrong answer.
That's the wrong answer. So
if you're such a big fan, then you should know.
Yes. Once again, Ace Hanlon, that's the wrong answer as well.
Close. You guys are close. It's a trick question. You guys got to remember that.
A trick question it's very much in the thing. So, some dumb guys. Some of the chat is coming from Tom's
Truth Grinder account.
No.
That's worse than Tinder, Greg.
No.
From my understanding, that's where the gays are.
Yeah, I know. I'm not doing that. We do have a winner.
Oh, we got a winner.
We got a winner. We got a winner. Ace Hanlon.
Yes, Maureen Prescott.
Yes, she is the very first victim. Billy and Stu kill her first in the first movie. So Ace,
she doesn't die on screen, but
no, she doesn't. But they do make it clear that she is, like, if you go through this history of Scream, she is considered the first victim. So there you go.
Did Valentine get it in there?
Did you get in there first?
No, he says Casey Becker. I see.
No, you
Valentine.
said Casey Becker. Yeah.
No, yeah.
So I'm looking.
No, it was Maureen Prescott, Sydney's mother.
Yep, it was Maureen Prescott. So Ace Hanlon, where I just where was it? Where was he?
Six. She's screaming my name, so I just had to scream it back. I don't
know. Ace, I believe you follow me on X. Send me a message on, or I'll send it to you. After the show, I'll send it to you. Or when Tom starts talking about Michael, I'll send it to you real quick.
I can do that.
Yeah. So, but there you guys have it. Yeah, Tom. Sweet. There you go. But Tom, speaking of which, since I talked music bike, which is funny, which is very funny that this guy has not been around nowhere nearly as long as Michael Jackson, and he's already has 2 music biopics.
He beat Michael.
This guy is started in the late 90s, like 1999.
See, and I thought Michael would have be the first one to have a sequel biopic. Oh no, it had to be this guy.
It's this guy. I mean,
so now Michael's going, we got to make it 3 movies.
But go ahead, Tom. What do you got there?
Oh gosh, yeah. So the fun that was, if you've caught my video already, you kind of know which one I liked the best of the 3, and that'd be this one. I just, for some reason, I dug the art on this one. I don't know why. But this one, I guess, is quickly becoming the most collectible of the bunch. And this is in a hard book. This is the Lionsgate Limited one. The only thing difference between this one and these other 2 are it just comes with a collectible book. That's it. That's the only real difference. And as far as the case itself, it's a digipack kind of case. So I wasn't real impressed with that. But yeah, I mean, the Walmart nightmare. Oh boy. I saved that for you.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I didn't get into all that in my video. Because yeah, so initially I pre-ordered this the day it went up for pre-sale on Walmart, right?
Right.
So April, whatever the fuck it was, I put in my pre-order. Was there, ready to go. All of a sudden, Thursday I think it was, I got an email saying that it was delayed. Then I got an email saying that I needed to change my payment method because it wouldn't go through. And I'm like, well, what the fuck? Before I even had a chance to do all that, they had already canceled my order. Like, this went boom, boom, boom.
Right.
Like, I called them, like, I didn't even have a chance to change my payment method, even though there shouldn't have been a problem. I'm like, because I just bought something else for you guys and it went through no problem. So why is this an issue all of a sudden? And they couldn't tell me. And then finally I got a hold of somebody and they're like, yeah, this is a common problem we've had for some reason with our pre-orders lately. I said, yeah, tell me about it. So I had the same exact thing happen to me with Shin Godzilla, because they were supposed to have the steelbook for that. And a couple other movies. They lost my Bob Marley movie.
God, that sucks.
They just lost it. And that's not the first one. They lost like 3 of them in a row. It was like, I'm getting to the point where I'm like, do you realize there's probably a carrier who's got a good idea of what they are, so he's just ripping them off? That's got to be what it is at this point, because, you know what I mean? Because they all come from the same facility, and it keeps happening. Because it was like, there was like 2 movies before that I had the same exact thing happen to. I think it was Elvis and something else. I think it was. I can't remember now. But like, anyhow, like, so I got a hold of somebody, and I'm like, here's my issue now. He goes, I said, so what did it get canceled for? He goes, well, we don't know. I said, well, the problem is I can't reorder it, right? Because it's out of stock, right? It's out of stock online, can't reorder it. He's like, well, I understand your frustration. He goes, well, so basically we came up with the solution that if I could get it at one of the local stores, he would reimburse me the difference for all the trouble, because, you know, I'd have to drive, like I said, because I said, I can tell you right now, my local Walmart is not going to get it.
Yeah.
I said, I'll be lucky if they get the regular version. And I said, so I'm going to have to drive an hour no matter what way I go to get it probably. And that's if I get lucky enough to get it before they're gone. Right. And he's like, all right, well, if you do that, just let me know. I'll reimburse you for the movie, blah, 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 blah. So I was like, all right, cool. So then I called, because I actually got to I found one. Okay, so in between here, just so you guys know, it was really weird. All of a sudden, Walmart had a few available. So I'm thinking I'm not the only one who had their order canceled, because a bunch of other people were talking about their order getting delayed and all this other shit. So whatever they did, they ended up making a few more available all of a sudden. So I rebought it again. And it sat there. And I shit you not, I got no less than 50 or 60 fucking emails saying it was delayed.
That's insane.
It just, my phone just kept going the fuck off. Right? Like, and I'm used to that with like X and shit like that, but after 20 messages on X, it stops.
Right.
Like, but like, it just kept going and going. And I'm like, I get it. It's delayed. What the fuck? And I'm like, okay, so this is not, something's not right. So I got antsy. And so Tuesday I found one nearby. So I'll get you back up to speed. But before I left, I called customer service again to make sure that the notes were on there, that this was going to be reimbursed for me, because I was not going to drive. I said, because I technically do have another one that's on the way, but it's not going to be here till tomorrow or the next day. I said, if it's even on its way. I said, because I keep getting this delayed message. And they're like, well, that's weird. I was like, yeah, well, this whole thing has been fucking weird. Right?
Right.
So the guy's like, oh yeah, definitely just go make the purchase, and then as soon as you're done, we'll be able to reimburse you on our end. So I go through all the trouble of doing that, drive an hour to get the movie and all that business.
Mm-hmm.
I get on the phone again. Of course, I don't get the same customer service rep, you never get that.
Mm-hmm.
And this lady basically
Ahmed.
tells me, it's funny because Ahmed was the guy I talked to before.
That's funny.
Akshan was the first guy, and I said, so you basically this lady, I said, so you're telling me that Akshan and Ahmed are liars? And she's like, oh, I don't want to say that, but I'm like, but you're saying they're liars, because all she was going to give me was a $10 fucking coupon for Walmart, basically. I'm like, that does not fix the problem. I said, so I took the other one back today, but it's just like, oh, just a fucking nightmare to get a hold of it. Oh my god! And it is the least of the bunch too, which really pisses me off because like I hate the cover art on it.
Mm-hmm. Did you show all three of them? Did you show all three of them?
I did in the video, but I'll show them here. Like, so this is the Walmart one again, and they're really shiny because I got my plastic.
Yeah, the plastic.
But yeah, so like this is the worst for some reason. It could be anybody. You can't even really tell it's Jafar, right?
Yeah.
I don't mind the back. The back is that one piece of art that I do like, where it's the spotlight with. And then the shadow is the older Michael.
Mm-hmm.
That should have been the cover.
Yeah.
And this one is all right, but it just kind of feels like that airbrush or whatever you want to call it, pencil art, chalk art. That's the word I was looking for. It's all right. And in the back is actually kind of cool too. I just wish one of them had the different Michaels where it's, the young Michael, off the wall Michael, and the two thriller Michaels.
Right.
That would have been cool. But like this
one,
like I said, this
poster one would have been cool.
Yeah, this one to me is the best of these bunches so far. And like I said, each disc has a different design as well, which is a rarity for these. Because normally, when we get these, it's like they all have the same disc, same print, all that kind of business. No, each and every one of these has a different print on the disc. And I can bring the pictures up here. It's a little easier to see than me probably dragging it all out. But I also showed that in my video. But yeah, no, they did a great job with tons of special features. You get an hour-long documentary. All the stuff they had online, on the YouTubes and all that stuff beforehand is on there. So this is the Amazon one. This is the discs for the Amazon one.
I like the thriller one.
Yeah. And so here's all of them together. Sorry.
There you go.
So the top one here is the Walmart ones. So they're all right. The Amazon one is the red ones.
I'm with Barry. I like the red ones.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
And then the Lionsgate limited ones though, where that one, like I said in my video, that one feels like that should be like the normal release, right? Like that feels like your standard kind of, you get the book, it's in a digipack. Kind of reminds me of normal Lionsgate releases, because Lionsgate normally does do kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? A little more prestigious kind of releases sometimes.
Yeah, especially with limited Lionsgate.
Yeah, with Lionsgate Limited. But I mean, I was kind of hoping for another Steelbook, but it's fine. I don't like digipacks. I hate them.
Yeah, they're not.
Yes, it did hit $1 billion.
Yep, it finally did. I saw that. Yeah.
But yeah, unfortunately, these are pretty much impossible to get your hands on now outside of the secondary market.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be surprised if at least one of them does another run at some point.
I bet the Amazon red one will come back.
Possibly.
At least for a little bit, because they usually come back for like maybe...
Lionsgate has done reruns as well.
Yeah.
I'd be curious to see if they do. Because, like that one, I guess, is worth the most right now online. It's... Because it was so limited, I guess.
Right. So. But no, I mean...
The movie itself, so you got to watch half of it. So what did you think of what you saw so far?
I was actually enjoying the half of it that I saw. I got up to where he got Bubbles in his house, and he had just made his first album. And I was actually kind of interested because, like, I'm not like a huge Michael Jackson fan like you. I don't know a whole lot about the guy personally. I'll be straight honest with you. I don't know much about Michael Jackson. But I'm watching this, and I'd like you'd have to tell me, because I don't know. I know some of it is fictionalized and whatnot, but like watching it kind of clicked in me that it really makes sense why Michael Jackson was the way Michael Jackson was.
Yeah, they did a pretty good job of at least capturing most of that.
Because
right?
where I was seeing, like with his rise to fame and his dad beating him, and how he couldn't actually have real friends because they all wanted to take his pictures, and he was kind of in his own little imaginary world at his house because he really didn't have anybody. And then you exemplify that when he becomes Michael Jackson down the line, how big he gets. I could kind of see why Michael Jackson was often perceived as this weird, I know some people thought he was gay and everything, but I just like watching that. I didn't get that.
He had zero social skills. Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's like the way he was portrayed is kind of like an introverted person who like doesn't really interact with a lot of people other than the people that are just real close to him. So like he had no idea how to be a person. And I was kind of like,
and he
kind of clicked in my head watching it at that point.
And he did have friends, but what happened was, and this is where people I think misinterpret or at least get the idea of where he had this whole thing with kids, is he was kind of emotionally stunted when it came to
that's what I was feeling.
being able to make relationships, right? So that's where he could always relate more to the boys that were at the same age where he kind of had to transition from being a kid into an adult overnight, right? Because that's kind of what happened to him in his process of, because he doesn't remember, in his book he talks about how he doesn't remember a time where he wasn't performing, right, like from the moment he can kind of form a memory, because they started performing when he was 5 and then they hit it big when they were about 10, 11. They started getting big throughout there, but like when this movie starts, like they even make the point about where they lie about all, because they actually lied about all their ages, not just Michael. They all did. They all made him 2 years younger because it helped to make him cuter. And it just worked out, especially for Michael, because he was small and people believed it. But then when he had that transition into puberty is when a lot of people kind of shunned him. And that is kind of where I feel like he emotionally kind of stayed as far as that kind of a relationship. But now everything else in his life, he was very much, and everybody said this, like he was born an adult. Like when it came to the understanding of, performing and dealing with all the stuff on the road and how adjusted he was compared to his brothers and certain things like that. Like he was automatically just took to that like a duck to water and was like an adult. And a lot of people would try to take advantage of his perceived naivete when actually it's like he's as cutthroat as some of the worst, and that's where I feel like they didn't really do a good job of capturing, like the times he did try to have relationships with people that weren't just like Webster and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And they didn't even bring that in. They could have done that kind of stuff, but they didn't. And, there's a few things I felt like they didn't really get into, like Brooke Shields and Tatum, Jesus Christ, Tatum O'Neal, and all that kind of stuff, So, I mean, there's little bits and pieces they could have thrown in there one way or the other.
Did they get into like the Madonna relationship?
Not at all. No. That's the thing, is like this movie's kind of setting it up for what you're saying. It's like the more or less it's the perception of, okay, Michael was born into this life and he didn't have any social skills. And there's a scene coming up. I don't know if you've seen it. Yeah, I think I'm trying to think if you've seen it. No, you don't think you've seen it yet, because his father's going to get him in a corner and he's going to be like, you're going to get everything you want and you're going to be the biggest star in the world and nobody's going to say no to you. Everybody's going to say yes. What sense does that make? Right. And of course, at that moment to Michael, that's exactly what he wants.
Right.
But his dad is right, because what is setting him up for is, because he doesn't have these friends, he starts trusting people too easily and he trusts the wrong people. Yeah. And it gets to a point where I feel like that's where the sequel is really going to kind of key in on, and where he's just grasping for relationships. And, he'll get like, the ones that he has, I don't know who they're going to be able to bring in, but most of them were people that just wanted to sponge off him, use him, abuse him, and run, right? Yeah. Like that was kind of what they were. They just, what can I get from you, and go. So we'll see. Like even Elizabeth Taylor, as much as he considers he considered her his best friend, 9 times out of 10 he had to give her something to get her to do anything. Yeah. Right. So that's the thing with Michael, is like he never really had any true friends as far as he was concerned that he considered friends, and that's why he trusted kids, because kids didn't want anything from him. But then he come to learn that kids can be just as dirty and shitty as adults. Yeah, much later in life, we saw that all play out. He learned that the hard way. Yeah, we all saw that play out. And he still ended up blaming the adults more than the kids in those situations, because a lot of times, even like with the Chandler and all that, so he's like, no, I don't think the kids did it on purpose. He goes, I think they were coerced into it, and he goes, other than a couple of them like that were really bad, But that was the thing, is Michael was just too nice to people, and his family in general was too nice to people. He gets that from his mother. They didn't highlight that in the film, and I think they should have too, because his mom would literally let fans just come in all the time. Like all those fans that would hang out outside the doors, she would bring them in and feed them and shit, and a lot of them would take advantage of the situation and stuff all the time.
Yeah, I can see that.
And they had to basically put that to a stop, because otherwise they're like, Catherine, you're basically got this house as like a revolving door where fans just come and go as they please. Like,
yeah. What did you think of as Michael's mother in the film?
they did all right, but she is the core of who Michael is.
Mhm.
Everything he grew up to be was because of her. His religious background, his devotion to his kids, his view of the world, his view of other people, his humanitarianism, all comes from his mother. So, I mean, in that aspect, I mean, they did a pretty good job with his mother in this movie, but I feel like there's things they should have really leaned into a little bit more. And there's some things they didn't really need to reassess that we've seen done a million times over.
Right.
So, but I'm curious, like, I think the second movie is going to be a lot like the Michael Jackson movie I talked about a while back with that weird guy. Because that's kind of what his last few years of his life was. Because after Neverland, like, because when he was living at Neverland and his life was that, it ran like a Swiss watch. Like, everything was really well done. He was the power in control of everything in his domain. The moment shit got disrupted and the accusations started and they arrested him and they flipped, Neverland, and he didn't want to go back, his whole life went into this spiral, just this huge spiral of, drugs and just trying to find a place to land.
Right.
Because he couldn't find a place to live, because he didn't have the money, because he didn't have liquidity. It's not that he was broke, right? Because a lot of people in his life would go, this was insane that there were all these people making deals around Michael Jackson where there's literally tens, if not 30 or 40 millions of dollars worth of money flying back and forth in and out of accounts. But yet Michael Jackson had to borrow money from his fucking guards to get a cell phone.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's because his credit was so fucking bad.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, because he had so many loans out, and it was, a lot of it was Sony just trying to press him down to nothing, and everything they could to try and like, he even got to a point where, and none of this is probably going to be in the movie, but like, he didn't even think he had any access to the Thriller 25 money. Motherfucker made a shit ton of money off of Thriller 25. And his lawyer's like, they can't keep this money from you. Sony was trying to keep all the money from Thriller 25, claiming that he still owed them for expenses from Invincible.
Jeez.
So his lawyer had to take their ass to, like, they constantly were fucking with him. Like, he didn't even sign off on the Beatles Love Show. The first time he learned about it was he was rolled past the fucking sign for it in Vegas. He's like, who signed off on that? I didn't sign off on that. And they're just lucky he liked it. Because he went and saw it, and he's like, okay, I like it, it's fine. But before that, he was pissed because this is his thing. Because one thing they have controlling interest in the catalog now, because they have beaten him down to the point where he has to keep borrowing against the catalog because he has no cash. Because they have all his cash sucked up into all this other stuff. And then so he has to turn around and make these loans all the fucking time against it. So he's got so he kept refinancing these loans against the ATV catalog. But the one thing he maintained was the control of the Beatles catalog. But Sony kept doing shit with it without asking him.
Yeah.
And that's what started pissing him off. Is like, it used to be I was the one in control, and now everybody yells at me and tells me I'm the problem and that I don't do this and I don't do that. It's like, if it wasn't for me, none of these people would have jobs, right? Like, yet, he was so beaten down by the end. I don't think Michael would have lasted much longer than he really did.
Yeah,
I think he would have. I think he would have. At some point, something would have happened to him to where he would have just, because he was spiraling out of control. He was frail. He was not in good health. His heart was in good shape, so they know it was the drugs that killed him at the time. But the rest of his body, he was pushing himself so hard. Like, that's what he kept trying to tell him, was like, they want me to do these 50 fucking shows. He's like, I'm not a kid anymore, right? They don't realize what it takes for Michael Jackson to be Michael Jackson. And that's another thing they didn't put into the movie as much that I felt they should have more, was this guy would sit there and dance until his feet bled. So he knew till he got the routines down right? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And that was instilled with him, of course, from his father. But I mean, it's just, they did a great job with it. This movie more or less is about the father-son relationship. That's what they keyed in on. And then that's fine, right? Like, there's all this other stuff that's left on the cutting room floor, or left off the table. That's okay. But I do feel like there were some things they should have at least touched upon that they didn't. Because once you get to the last half of the movie here, you're going to realize that it's like, oh, all of a sudden, because they got Bubbles, and he's going to start working on, Thriller and all that kind of stuff. And then, boom, it's going to jump 5 years on you at the end. You're just going to be like, wait, what happened here?
Yeah. So, do you think that maybe they'll add stuff like to those flashbacks or something that they couldn't show in this one?
I would hope so, but I think this is how this part of the movie was always designed. Mm-hmm. See, because that's the thing we got to understand is that Michael has a lot of years post-Thriller, right? Like, I mean, I think they did this movie this way initially. Like, it was supposed to highlight mostly Thriller, but for those who don't know, the original beginning of the movie to basically spit in the face of all the media that tried to claim they tried to avoid it, and they knew full well they couldn't put it in the movie at this point because of the lawsuit bullshit and the stipulations in the contracts. Mm-hmm. They did shoot all the accusations and the courtroom stuff and all that kind of business, but they had to rework it all because of the estate forgetting to tell them they couldn't use Jordan Sham.
Yeah.
So
they had to change everything, right?
So they had to go back and fix everything. But I'm assuming that 2/3 of the movie was what we saw. Because they said they had like only, a third of the movie left that got cut off at the end. So I'm assuming it jumps again, right? Because there's because there's certain points where I don't think it's going to dwell too much on the bad era. Because, I mean, that was his most success as far as, like, breaking records across the board. The only thing it didn't break was the sales record that Thriller did, but it did break the singles record and biggest concerts of all time and all that kind of business. So, like,
yeah.
I always said that, like, I was never expecting it to necessarily get into the later years per se, necessarily, because there's no real reason to. Because, again, like, I've been telling people, like, look, the last 20 years of his life was pretty fucking depressing. And a lot of it was just a lot of people letting him down constantly and him being lied to and him being basically pushed towards the drugs and everything like that. So, yeah.
Yeah. I just got it up my butt. Yeah, I really actually from what I understand, worse than
what he is in the movie.
I was gonna say what they showed in the movie was nothing compared to what the true story behind his father. I don't know if Tom, that's a good question. Do you think they'll portray Sony as a villain? Probably not.
No.
Yeah.
No. They won't. And I will sit there and maintain that Sony was one of the people that killed him. Like I said, I don't think that he was going to last much longer either way. Because you talk to anybody during that whole thing, like he lost 30 pounds between the announcement of This Is It and the time he died.
Yeah.
And Michael Jackson didn't weigh much, kids.
No, he was yeah, it was pretty rough on him.
He didn't have much for body fat.
Yeah.
And like when he would perform back in the day, that was kind of the other thing that he's like, I would eat more calories than when, you normally eat if you're bodybuilding just to kind of maintain. And he would still lose 3 to 5 pounds a show. Mm-hmm. So, because he never could maintain enough, but he had gotten himself really healthy. He was up to, I think it was 150, I think it was, just when he did the announcement for This Is It. Mm-hmm. But then by the time he died, he was a mere like 120 pounds. It truly is sad when you really think about it, because like even watching what little I've seen of it, and like I said, I mean, not that I wasn't a fan, because I grew up. I think we all grew up with Michael Jackson. Some of us were like you, were a huge fan and whatnot. But like when you realize somebody like Michael Jackson or even like Elvis, who's always been around, who so many people loved and everything, and just to see them slowly deteriorate and die and go out like that, it's really sad. And I think that's going to, like in the net, like somebody mentioned, do you think they'll show his death in the next movie? I think it's going to hit people, especially with like the people like you, and how this movie made $1 billion, how so many people loved it. If they take it that far, I think it's really going to hit people hard. Real hard. I don't know if it's gonna end with his death, because Bohemian Rhapsody did a pretty good job of taking it up to the point, and you didn't have to necessarily see the whole bloody ending. In this case, I think with them starting with the raid on Neverland, because that's the way the original film was supposed to start, and then it was going to wrap around. My guess is that they had planned on ending the film at a completely different spot. It would have been ended after he was acquitted, and then he did. I think he did this. When did he do this? Was the Super Bowl before that, or he did the MTV thing? I think after, because the way I kind of predicted Bohemian Rhapsody would end the way it did, because I kind of know how these biopics kind of work. You got to have that Rocky moment.
Mm-hmm.
You can't end them on a somber, sad,
Which that
shitty
movie
moment.
looks really good, by the way.
Right?
But
Like,
yes.
yeah. You gotta end them on this like highlight, and then you have the because like I said, I bet you $5 the end of Bohemian Rhapsody is going to be right after the Live Aid concert, and it's going to say, Freddie Mercury died of AIDS, blah 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
My guess is it'll probably be something like that. It'll be right after whatever big concert at that time they pick and just decide to pick his moment and son, and then from there on out it'll say, he was never left alone until his death in 2009 and blah 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 blah. They won't mention anything about Sony. I highly doubt they'll get into any of.
Do you think they'll mention his doctor who?
Yes. And because they clearly they're setting that up big time, because the first time he gets that drip,
Mm-hmm.
that is clearly setting that up. For those who don't know how he died, like, I mean, Conrad Murray, what he did was, because Mike would be so amped up that he had insomnia his entire life,
Mm-hmm.
and this was nothing new. So but what would happen is it would get really, really fucking bad when he was on tour or gearing up to go on tour, because he would just be so amped up and he couldn't sleep. So they would give him sedatives to put him to sleep sometimes. And it started out with just normal stuff, but then he found out that he liked propofol once when he was under the knife, because it makes you feel like you get a good night's rest and you wake up feeling like euphoric. So he got to the point where he got addicted to that. And Conrad wasn't really licensed for that shit.
Mm-hmm.
He was just your standard kind of, he wasn't like an anesthesiologist or anything like that. You know what I mean? Six would probably know more about this shit than I would. But like, yeah. So like what he did is he took a vial of fucking propofol and basically put it in a saline solution bag with a hole punched in it. Now, this stuff is supposed to be so highly regulated that it's supposed to be in a drip, and you have to sit there and monitor your patient and make sure they don't stop breathing. And that's what happened basically to Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
He shoved this thing in the bag, went off, did his own thing, let Michael fall asleep, probably didn't check him for about an hour. Mike hadn't been breathing for at least 30 minutes to an hour by the time he discovered him, because he didn't have anything hooked up to let him know other than a finger monitor thing.
Right.
Like, this guy was a fucking joke, and the fact that he only got 2 years out of it is a fucking bigger joke. But yeah, no, he's been convicted. He got convicted of homicide,
Mm-hmm.
but because of what was going on at the time in, I think it was California, they knew right off the bat that the max sentence, I think, was like 4 or 5 years, and because prison system was so full that they knew he'd only serve about 2. And it's exactly what happened. And you know what's sad is he's practicing again.
That's how is that even possible?
Because the only state he couldn't get his license in was probably California.
That's,
and he's not
fuck
even in the U.S.
California,
anymore. From what
man.
I know, I guess he went
Screw
overseas, but
California,
still,
man.
yeah, that's bullshit. Yeah,
It is. Before you go any further,
but yeah, none of that shit's in the movie. But I think that's gonna be set up in the movie. But I don't know how much of it we'll actually see.
Mm-hmm.
It might end with the "This Is It" announcement too. I mean, it could just be that.
It could be, yeah.
Because every time Michael would have a hit after like basically every time post Bad, that's the last time the only controversy he had during Bad was his own controversies. Like, just, he's changed his look, he's changed his style. Is he this? Is he that? He's weird. He's all these things. It was the accusations came in during the Dangerous tour. And every time after that, something, it would always correspond with whenever there was a release, whether it was the Dangerous, the History, number ones. It was everything that happened to him. It was always timed. So these people would always make sure it was timed to get the maximum exposure.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Even number ones, motherfuckers dumped on him when that came out. He was on the way to having the most successful greatest hits album of all time, and fuckers went and did that.
Yeah.
Because that's the one thing that the Eagles have been nipping at his heels for years.
Because
that's the one thing you can kind of say, because the Eagles technically sold just almost as many units but it was their greatest hits album, so it counts as double. That's why.
Yeah. I have that because I'm
Yeah,
a
the
huge
double
Eagles
L,
fan.
yeah, the big Eagles double LP.
Yeah,
Everybody knows exactly what I'm talking about, right?
I'm a huge Eagles fan.
Yeah, see, so that was the thing that always bothered him, because the only reason that had that many sales is because it was technically a double album,
Yeah,
which is why
yeah.
he did History. He finally agreed to do History as a double album, even though he didn't want to. But the studio Sony wanted a greatest hits album. He was like, "Oh, I don't want to do a greatest hits album." and I think that album suffered mainly because of it being a greatest hits album and being twice as much. And a lot of people are like, why would I rebuy all this Michael Jackson music I already own? And none of the new stuff at that time was really catching on with people. Like now in hindsight, a lot of people are like, oh yeah, Dangerous, History. A lot of people slept on those, and especially, Invincible and stuff like that. But like, History, I felt like really got the worst of the brunt of all of it, because it was after the first time he got accused, and then they came back after him, and it was during the Lisa Marie shit and all this stuff. Like that was his, all that stuff is going to have to be covered in the movie, guys. Like that's gotta be there.
It's gotta be.
Like,
do you think though? I don't think it will, but do you think Janet Jackson will make an appearance somehow?
No. I think it's too, unless people come back, and because it's funny you asked that, because
I was thinking, because like with the success of this movie, maybe though.
I was thinking that too. I was like, a lot of people are like kicking themselves in the ass, wishing they would have said yes, because they're like, fuck, they probably were thinking the movie wasn't going to do very well.
Yeah.
Because like they did shoot Diana Ross and they cut all her shit out. I heard rumors about Paul McCartney, but then I heard that was bullshit. So I don't think that actually happened. Which again, I can't believe you can't see. That's something I can't believe they didn't do, because you can't get into the last half of his life without that. That is the moment that Michael Jackson became the target for the industry. People need to understand that, because there was so many people who wanted to get their hands on that catalog, and the only reason Paul wanted to get it was just the Beatles songs. That was it. But there was tons of other music. At the moment Michael bought that, he owned more music than anybody else in the world. Like there were so many songs that you have no idea, that you wouldn't imagine that once they got played, he was the one who had to pay for it. Like that Eminem story is fucking true.
Yeah. But I'm going to get to this $5 super chat real quick, and then we'll go back to the conversation here. But aside from Chaos says, greetings all. Question, do either of you have the Event Horizon on 4K? I haven't watched it yet, but I think Tom...
I have it, yeah.
I don't know if you... If so, how does it look? Also, yes, rest in peace Sam Neill as well, another one we lost. From what I remember, because I know somebody had it on here before. I can't remember who brought it on. Maybe
I think it was Runner.
And from the people in chat, yes, the 4K does look good. The 4K of it does look good. Great movie.
Mine's still in plastic, actually. It's one of those movies I've always wanted to get around to. And I think saw it maybe once on video, but I don't remember it. But yeah, that's too bad about Sam Neill.
It sucks. But thank you, Sai, for Chaos for the $5 super chat. I do appreciate that. And just for that, I'm Nick Cage. And look, we got a little Tino Slant in the chat. What's up, man? Made. But no, I mean, I'd be interested to see what changes, because with the success of the film, I would be interested if they're going to make some changes. At least they're going to do something.
Yeah, you would think
change it up a little bit from what they originally. Because like maybe people who didn't want to be in the first one, maybe they're coming back saying, maybe I want to be in this one now.
Yeah, because like a couple of his brothers, mostly just his sisters, as far as I know, none of the brothers, but yeah, because like Rebby and stuff like that didn't want to be a part of it. And it's sad because even his kids are kind of separated on it. Like I can understand certain aspects of it from the kids, like Paris. She just was not happy with it in general. But now like Prince, he's one of the producers on the film, so.
Yeah.
And the thing is Prince would have been around his father more than the others, of course. But and that's the thing is, like, I think he's trying to make sure that the movie does celebrate his father, and it's doing exactly what Sony wanted it to do. Sadly, I mean, even though they didn't produce the film, they're the music side, and Lionsgate and Universal are benefiting from the film side of it, right? Like nobody expected this thing to make $1 billion. I think their goal was to do close to what Bohemian Rhapsody did. But this is why I was kind of like not sure how it was going to be received. It was like the thing with Michael is outside the US, he's fine. Right. Like, and in fact, I don't know if you guys have seen this or not, but Michael actually outgrossed Mario Brothers overseas.
Yeah, which is surprising because that's definitely would have been
it is, but it's not.
overseas.
Yeah, to me it's not, because like that's the thing is he's maintained his outside of the UK and the US. Michael has not had a big problem maintaining an audience because they don't really buy into the tabloid bullshit. But it was the UK which was the worst. Like for some reason they just decided, because they have the worst tabloid fucking culture there. Like as we know, they killed Princess Diana, for fuck's sake.
Oh yeah.
I
Big
mean,
time.
like, and that's something that really bothered Michael as far as he was concerned. I mean, because that was one of his best friends as far as he was concerned. Like that really hurt him. And then fucking, not best friends, but one of his friends as far as that goes. But I guess he did talk to her quite often. So, you see, that was the thing is Mike would start a lot of correspondence over the phone. And they said he was always really good about, like, if he said he was going to call you at like 11 o'clock on Sunday, he was called at 11 o'clock on Sunday. But he was also one of those he was good to, like, a couple of people, like, they'd know if it was like the middle of the night, chances are you could get a hold of him. But then when he, then later on, though, he got cut off and he was changing his number so much and he was running from creditors and everything else constantly. It was insane. So, like, it's just weird to how the end of his life contrasts with the earlier part of his life. And I think that's where what his father tells him, you'll see when you get to that part, where when his father tells him that you're like, yeah, that's what Michael wants to hear right now. But the truth is his father's right. Like, as bad as his dad is. And see, that's one thing, I guess, that isn't I'm not trying to defend Joe Jackson in any fucking way, shape, or form. But there's got to be things about the guy that, that initially Catherine fell in love with him, right? Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, because that sort of takes me back to like the can only imagine thing.
Right.
It's like his dad, the lead singer, was abusive. His dad beat him. Like, he beat him so bad he couldn't even lay on his stomach when he was a kid. And so, but in this weird way, he truly loved his kids. He truly loved his son. And that, I feel like that, I mean, not a good skin. I'm not trying to defend Joe Jackson. Yeah. But like,
you gotta understand where Joe was. Yeah,
it's this weird thing that they do love to. Well, in this guy's case, he found God and he made amends with his son, and they forgave each other and everything, right? But until he died of cancer. But like with Joe Jackson, like you could tell he did love his kids, but there was that.
Well, there's a reason for it, and it's kind of boys danced over, but it's basically like you got to remember at the time when he's had these kids, in the 60s. I mean, for a Black American in Middle America, he was growing up. He was raising these kids in one of the most poverty-stricken, crime-ridden areas, and gangs were on the rise. So his whole, and this is the thing, like that Jackie and like Jermaine and the ones that are a little older remember, and they'll say, like, I remember this specifically from Jermaine's book, where he flat out said that his father was a lot more softer and caring and loving when he was younger. But what had happened was there was I can't remember exactly how it goes down, but there was like, he goes, the things changed when the gang activity took a rise in our community, and like there was a shooting or something like that, and at that moment that was when Joe changed, because the only way Joe knew how to keep his kids out of trouble was to keep them busy. And when he discovered the music was something they were into, he used that, because before that he would just give them chores. Like, that's what I liked about the Jackson 5 miniseries movies. That movie does a great job of really capturing their lives, getting into the whole thing, because he would make the kids literally move these big cinder blocks from one place to another. That was it. No purpose in it.
Gives them something to do.
Gives them something to fucking do and keeps them off the streets.
Yeah.
And he goes, by the time I get home from work tonight, those blocks better be from there to there. So, of course, the 4 older boys would be out there all day, night long, go back and forth with the bricks. Michael and Marlon would join in, and or Randy and them would all join in after time when they get older. But, like, they don't remember any of that. The younger ones don't. But, like, then when Tito, of course, got into the guitar, because that was a big thing. Joe's big thing was he was a musician. He had his own ambitions. And Catherine was actually a hell of a singer. A hell of a singer, but she was embarrassed and didn't want to be on stage because of she had polio as a child, so she had a limp. So she didn't feel like she was presentable to be on stage. So, and she also wanted to be a country western singer, which was also kind of abnormal for a black person at that time. They're like, "You sure you don't want to sing soul or gospel?" Like, no, she adored country western, I guess.
Yeah.
But and actually that's one of the first things I guess that her and Joe bonded over. And, and they got married, and he actually did pretty well off at first. Like, people don't realize that little house that they owned in Gary actually was, for him at at Joe's age, he hustled well enough to get that house. Like, a lot of those people, like even the boys would talk about how they lived right across from the projects and shit like that. Right. Like, I mean, it was that bad, but they were fortunate enough, even though it was a tight space, like they lived in a house. They had a house that they owned. Right. And nobody could take that away from Joe, is that he did that. And I mean, he saw the potential there. He pushed the kids. Absolutely. But like even Michael said, it was something he wanted, he was born to do. Like he took to it. It was just, he just wished he had more time for a childhood. Right. Like that was the thing. And Joe's whole goal was just basically at first to keep these kids out of trouble, keep them off the streets. And Tito, like I said, broke his guitar, and that's what kind of caused the whole thing to begin with. Because he had no idea these kids were even remotely musically talented outside of just, singing a cappella around the house here and there as they were doing chores once in a while.
Yeah.
But he never saw a lot of that stuff. But one thing was, is you stay the fuck away from his guitar. Well, Tito did a good job of not fucking with it until one night he accidentally broke a string. And they all knew all hell was going to break loose. And they do a pretty good job of capturing that scene in that original. That's the one scene I feel like that was missing from this movie. Like, that should have been like the first scene in the film. Like, kind of a setup towards that. Like, it just feels like there's little bits and pieces here and there that you kind of need to kind of fill in the gaps. But in a way, this almost works like as a also side step to it, like, because it focuses more on Michael instead of the family. Because that second half of the Jacksons miniseries is a little, they take some liberties with some of the things to kind of make it more pro family. And this movie, on the other hand, as you'll see as you get near the end, it's a lot about how Michael just wants to get away from his dad.
Yeah.
Like that's really what it is. And he cannot have his dad controlling his image and career anymore. And he wants to take his own kind of control. And some of that's in that Jackson miniseries, but it's more so that's kind of the main focus of this film. So at the end of the day, that's really what it is. And I hope you enjoy the rest of it. It looks great, sounds great, considering it was chopped to shit.
I mean, I could tell a little bit later with like Michael's hairdo kept changing there for a minute, back and forth when he was recording his first solo album. Like there was one scene where his hair looked shorter and then it was thicker, and so like those had to be like reshoots, right? Or
it might have just been fudging with time, because in that era his fro did change shapes and sizes quite a bit.
I was gonna say, because it was like real small,
and then all of a sudden everything's Jerry Cole. Yeah, well, yeah, because they started the 70s. They had the big fros as the kids, and then Michael cut his hair down to do the Wiz. And I think that's the other, because they did film stuff for that, and they just didn't put it in the movie, because that's how he met Quincy Jones. Because he had to cut his hair down for the Wiz to do that. And so that's probably what that was, because all that whole thing in that period, like he goes from going from Motown to leaving Motown to doing the Wiz to doing Off the Wall is like boom, 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 right? And then they got all the Jacksons albums in between there too. Like they didn't even cover shit of that hardly. I mean, they mention them like in a sense of like they exist, like because I think did you get to that scene yet? No, you haven't got to that scene yet.
No, he had just gotten Bubbles. Yeah,
I was gonna say you just got Bubbles, so you got a bit ways to go. Yeah, but like because they'll get to a part where he's like, Michael wants to do his own album, and he's like, I want you guys to tell Joe.
Oh no, I saw that. That's right before he gets Bubbles.
Oh, did he get right before? I can't remember if it was right before or right after. He's like, yeah. So I want you guys to tell him.
And he tells Quincy Jones, he goes, I'm not a kid anymore. I'm looking him right in the eyes and tell him. And then he goes, ask them guys to tell his dad.
I need you guys to go tell my dad I'm going to do a solo album. Yeah. Which, I mean, part of that's kind of made up because he had already been doing solo albums. But this just happened to be the first solo album that he had done where he was in control.
Right.
Because before that, Motown decided everything that went on them, what they were, all that kind of business. Like he didn't have any. influence whatsoever over them. But this was the first time he was writing the songs, and that was the other reason why they went to CBS, was that they were able to not only write the songs, but they were actually getting royalties compared to what they used to be getting, which was literally like a penny a song, which was just wretched back then. And if you know, people don't understand how big the Jackson 5 were. So that's one thing I think the movie didn't capture well enough. Like, showing their last show at a fucking state fair does not do them justice. The Jackson 5 were literally the American Beatles for a while. Like, people don't understand that. Like, they were the only group that knocked the Beatles off of the top of the charts twice. Twice. They were the first group to really cross over into white America and be accepted as just a pop group and not a black act. Right. Like, people need to understand how important that was. They were on Ed Sullivan and all these other TV shows doing their thing, and they were wholesome, right? Like, they had this thing about them, and kind of going back to your movie that you're talking, the only thing, they were just a step above the Osmonds, but the Osmonds probably had more fucking skeletons in their closet in a lot of ways too. But that was the thing, is they hated getting compared to shit like that, and that's where Michael had to break out of that mold, right? Like, the J5 thing did well for a while, but then it was like, okay, we're getting old for this, and I want to do my own thing. So, and I get it, Six. And again, I'm not trying to defend him in any way, shape, or form, right?
Yeah.
But it was a different time, and at that point, I kind of understand where Joe felt like he had no other alternative. But then his greed and other things start taking over, right? Like, that's the problem. And the movie does show that. You'll get to that part too, where you're just like, there's a reason why there's all the Joe memes you'll see. Because, I mean, it does show the most despicable parts of Joe. Like, he's a wretched human being, and it was a wretched human being in a lot of ways. Even after his son's death, all he could do is use the press to try and push his fucking record company.
Yeah. He was pretty despicable. And I do find it pretty interesting that, like, not that this guy is nowhere near on the level of Michael Jackson, but like the similarities between how, like, his is much different than that, but like, their fathers both beat them, and they were both these very creative people who lived in like this childlike wonder. The only difference here is that this man actually did forgive his father, and I know Six says she could never, and I get that completely 100%. Some people just get, but like, he found God, and they both found God, and they forgave. And then, there's just like, there's different people. Like, Joe is one of those people that people probably couldn't forgive. He was pretty bad, and I don't think he ever really tried to make a difference in his life to make up for it, and never really saw himself that way. So, but anyways, their dads beat the devil out of them.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not the older boys, but definitely Michael. Like,
yeah. Why do guitar strings only break in horror movies? It's that where they pull it and just snap. That's that little jump they give you. But anyways, I am looking forward to seeing the rest of Michael. I know you've been talking about it a lot and everything.
I'm curious to hear the rest of your thoughts on it.
I was enjoying the film so far. I really was. I was enjoying it. I thought it was pretty interesting, and I could totally see how Jafar Jackson, from what little I'd gotten to him, because I had just gotten past the Jackson 5 stuff, he's actually doing a really good job. He made me believe a little bit that he was Michael Jackson there so far. So I'm looking forward to see how it is. Once again, like I said, I don't know nearly as much about Michael Jackson as you do at all. Not that I didn't listen to him. I did listen to him, but also in the area I grew up, we were listening to like the Eagles, like you mentioned. We were listening to the Eagles or Hank Williams Jr. and stuff like that in my area. But we when he came out with that stuff like Dirty Diana or Thriller, that was like, that shit's good, that's Michael Jackson, So we were, I wasn't a hater. I liked Michael Jackson's music. So it's just a pretty interesting movie so far. I was digging it. So I'm looking forward to finishing it. What's up, PB? I know who Peter Venkman fan site. How you doing? I don't think it doesn't, but it's very, to be honest with you, a lot of these people that are very creative and singers, they had troubled childhoods. They were abused in one way, shape, or form. Not necessarily be. Sometimes they were verbally abused and stuff. So
no, but this also goes to the whole thing of like, there's a lot of people who, especially with Michael Jackson, will talk about how he has God-given talent, which is true. Don't get me wrong. But one thing that a lot of people overlook, and this is one thing, like I said, the movie does overlook a little bit, was his work ethic and how he would push himself to the point, because that's how he was perfected, right? Like he would literally do it and do it and do it and do it until it just became second nature to him.
Mhm.
So like, I mean, he would instill it in himself so much that, like, there were stories of, like, you know, he would just turn around and do like the Thriller dance for kids when they would ask him to. He knew all the moves still to this day, right? Like, and even you could tell on stage when he did a lot of his shows, he would just carry over that same choreography into the shows, and that was just because it was second nature to him. And it's probably because he couldn't really break out of that mold anymore. It's like he's so into it that move is so tied to that. And you can even see that when they would do the J5 songs as adults. Like, they would just go right into it, and it was like the exact same routine they would always do. But that was kind of where Michael's like, I got to change. I got to do something new. I got to do something different, this redundancy. And he even started feeling that way about his own music after a while.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's the other thing, is he's got tons of music we've never heard, probably never will hear. He's got unreleased, unfinished stuff. Because he was just constantly working on stuff all the time.
Yeah.
In his home studio and everything.
I wonder
like,
if his kids, once his kids get control of all that, if they'll ever.
I don't know how much they actually control. That's the thing. Like, right now, I think Paris is too young yet, or maybe she's just old enough. But like, I know Prince, until at certain ages they get money, but I don't know how much they have control over the estate.
Yeah,
I think that's the sad part. But yeah,
that's what I'm thinking. Like, maybe it's like probably when they're in their 40s or something, when everybody else has passed away. Do you think like they'll ever release any of that stuff?
Oh, as far as releasing it, they have released some. The problem is they need a curator. They need a group of Michael Jackson fans, and I'm not even. I mean, I know a lot, but I'm not even probably as good as some of these other folks out there that I've come across in my recent, few months here, where they can sit down and they know stuff about songs that have never been released, right? Like, because they're just like, there's stuff and Sony fucked up, and the family fucked up. There was a computer, and this is where a lot of those tracks have leaked off of, that got removed from Neverland that never should have, that had a whole bunch of unfinished material on it. So that's how a lot of that stuff got leaked out, I guess. But yeah, so they did Escape and they did Michael. Michael is the one that was more controversial because it had 3 tracks on it that weren't Michael Jackson for some dumb fucking reason. And that's the thing that the fans couldn't understand, is like, why would you even fall for something like that when there's tons and tons and tons and tons of tracks? But the thing is like, they don't know, and this is why I say they need somebody in there to kind of help, or a few people in there to help, because they didn't even realize what This Is It was. It was just happenstance that Michael Jackson called the concerts This Is It, because he was saying, this is it. When I'm done with it, this is it.
Right.
So you want to see me, this is it.
This is it.
I'm done. But he had a song called This Is It that he had written with Paul Anka, or that Paul Anka had written years ago, that he had recorded and then was re-recorded by another artist. Well, Sony is so off the fucking mark, they don't know what the fuck they're doing. They thought that Michael had reworked this song that was done by this other artist for the This Is It tour. It's like, no, he recorded this song 30 fucking years ago before the other version ever came out.
Insane.
Because I can't remember what singer sang it, but she did a version of it that's similar, that they rewrote it for her. It was originally written for Michael, and they did these recording sessions, and that's also where a couple other songs from Escape came from, with Paul Anka and stuff like that, where they had written them. And all they were was piano and Michael. So they took those tracks and they were able to build songs off of those. So there's a lot of that kind of stuff, right? Like, and I even have a bunch of stuff where it's just unfinished. Like, most of the music is kind of put together, but he's still working on it. And that's another thing I wish they would have showed a little bit more of in the movie. They show some of it, but they don't quite show how Michael worked. Like, you got him, just kind of walking around going, dun, 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 dun. He's kind of working out, starting something. He comes up with Mama Say, Mama Sama, and he writes it down. That's kind of how he did that kind of stuff. But like, that's what he said. He would just be, all of a sudden, he would walk around in the days of like, I'm getting the thing, because I don't think you got to that scene yet either, where he's sitting in the pool and his brother's like, Michael, what are you doing? And he's like, I'm just waiting. I'm absorbing the energy that the creator's giving me. He's like, why? Because if I'm not here, then maybe he'll give all these ideas to Prince. And that's pretty much what it is. He says, like, these songs just come to me and I got to kind of start working them out until I get them, because he doesn't know how to play instruments. I mean, he can play instruments, but he doesn't know how to write music. He actually studied musical theory, but he never understood how to write out actual music. So what he would do is he would sit there in his studio and he'd go, okay, so this is Beat It. And he would, and I'd play it, but I'd get copyright stricken.
Right.
Where he'd sit here and go, okay, so here's like this part, and he'd go like, and then underneath that he'd go, and then here's the drum part, and he'd do all that kind of stuff, and he'd give that off to his guys, and then they would make it as it is. And if it wasn't right, he'd go like, no, do this. And the part where he goes, like they weren't getting, because like even during the recording of Dirty Diana, Sadie, that's enough. Nobody's here. She's just barking at a car that drove by. I literally a car that just drove by.
Dogs. That's what they do.
Anyway, the guitarist for Billy Idol worked on Dirty Diana. And there was just this one part he couldn't get that Michael wanted, that he's just like, no, he knew exactly what he wanted, but the guy just couldn't get it. And he finally did, but then Michael just blew up. He's like, that's it. Because it's just like one little weird type of thing that he wanted in there. And so he knows what he wants in his head. But he'll keep doing it until he gets it down on the tracks, right? Like, so that's, and he wrote Billie Jean and all those songs like that he wrote. And Rob Tepperton, of course, wrote Thriller and stuff like that and some of the other songs for him. But yeah, he'd get these songs in his head and he would just start beatboxing them out and working out the bass and then working out the melody. And then the words would come last. Usually the words would last. It was usually the emotion, the feeling of the song first. Then it would come out that way. But anyhow.
Yeah. It's interesting because like
Sadie.
It's interesting to know that how that worked out, you know, and I'm looking forward to finish how that movie goes. So I can say I enjoyed it. I can say I enjoyed it so far. Yeah, I think I'll probably enjoy the rest of it. So, but
my biggest complaints other than that was the soundtrack, like not in the movie itself, but on the actual soundtrack. The physical soundtrack seemed to be a big, and Six knows what I'm talking about. Big disappointment. It's more or less just a shitty greatest hits collection. Yeah, and it's not even the versions that are in the movie half the time. No, and it's only enough tracks that they could fit on a double LP, right? So like, and because I did my own version, there's like 40 some tracks in this movie of Jackson songs and other versions. And
they only put like 10 or 12 on the CD.
12 on the CD, yeah.
We're saving that for the sequel. That's
back in the day, you know, you used to get more. You know, you had more Dirty Dancing, more,
even more Dazed and Confused.
Even more Dazed and Confused, exactly.
Or even more of the Wedding
Chill.
Singer, too. They did the
Wedding Singer did it, and Grosse Pointe Blank did it. Like, yeah, just come out with more volumes. Fuck yeah, geez, at this point, you're just, like, to me, it makes no sense to put the versions you can get on the standard albums on the soundtrack, because I'm like, you're just hurting yourself, because you want people to buy that soundtrack and then they hear the live versions and the newer versions, and or not newer, but you know what I mean, like the newer versions however they worked them out for the movie. Because I have all the stuff that's on there. It's just different live versions and stuff like that they used as sources. Put all those versions on the disc, so then people are like, oh well, I want the original one too. They go and buy Thriller, or they go and buy Bad, or they go, you know, like instead of just cramming the actual songs on there. It's like, and that's not even the versions they have in the movie.
Does before we
Beat It and Thriller are like the only two songs, and Billie Jean, I guess, the three that are actually played in the movie as they are basically on on the album, I guess. Other than that, like they should have done something else, like, because even Don't Stop Till You Get Enough, there's like a version of it in the movie where it's kind of like they're messing with it a little bit. It's like it would have been cool if they just done like a interesting version, because on that version in the movie, Jafar actually sings a few lines on that.
I was going to say, does he sing in the movie at all, really?
A little bit here and there, I found out. So, like, it's a mix between, in certain spots, just depending on where you're at. Like, all the performances are all live Michael recordings. But, like the part during Don't Stop Till You Get Enough, and then a part during Beat It, and some other stuff, he's actually singing. So it'd been kind of cool if they had done something with that, or had him do a version of it for the soundtrack.
Yeah.
Right. Because then it would have been like, okay, so we got something new. Because that's what I liked about The Complete Unknown, the one Bob Dylan one, was that you had Timothy Chalamet doing Bob Dylan on the soundtrack, right? Like, and he does a good job, but it's him. Like, and that's what Six was disappointed with. She thought it was going to be Jafar singing on the soundtrack and whatnot, but no. And otherwise, it's just I liked how in the movie itself they dove into the back catalog, or the deep catalog of the Jacksons and Michael himself. But on the soundtrack, it's literally just like, this is the same shit. You might as well just go buy number ones.
Yeah, just buy that one.
You might as well, or the Essential. Actually, you get more shit on the Essential Michael. To be honest with you, that if I was going to recommend like an entry point for somebody who just wants a good greatest hits Michael album, the Essential Michael's a doubled CD album. It's filled up to the brim with just about everything you can think of. If anything, it's just lacking shit from history.
Mm-hmm.
There's only like one song I think on there from history, and like maybe 2 from Invincible, and that's it. But like, yeah.
Well, there you guys have it. And I did get a members chat from Tim Hayes. It says, "Hell, Greg and Tom." Well, hell to you, Tim. Thank you for being a channel member for 47 months. I hope you've enjoyed everything. What can I give you since being a member? You've been a member a long time. I appreciate you. What can I give you? I don't know. I don't use a lot of these. I'll give you some chicks with guns. There you go.
No, Six. Right. It's not his singing. Six. It's his songwriting. he's arguably one of the greatest songwriters.
Yeah, he could always write them, but he really couldn't sing them.
No, he couldn't sing for shit.
Yeah. Hey, I'm surprised they haven't done that. I'm really surprised they haven't had him record a Michael Jackson song.
He sounds just like his uncle. Like I've heard a couple of his songs now because he did try to do a recording career before he tried acting. And he sounds so. That's probably why he didn't get famous, because he sounds so much like his uncle.
Now, if he recorded an album of Michael's songs, it would definitely sell.
I think he's going to get into acting, and I can't wait to see what this kid does next.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is somebody I want to watch because he's got the thing, and that's the thing. I guess the family has said in multiple places, and this is even in Jermaine's book, which is funny. One day Michael pointed at Jafar. He goes, "That's the one that's going to be the most like me." Of all the nephews and nieces, he pointed at Jafar and he goes, "That's the one that's going to be the most like me." And it's weird that it came full circle with him playing his uncle at the end of the day. So yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy.
And I think it helped also that Catherine helped raise Jafar. Like, for those who don't know, like, Jermaine wasn't the greatest dad in the world. And he pawned his kids off to his mother. And so his mother raised basically Jafar. And
that kind of makes sense then now from what I've seen.
I can't remember the other kid's name. It's something. Fuck. Your Majesty? That's what it is. I shit you not.
Oh, yeah.
Your Majesty.
Your Majesty.
It's Your Majesty and Jermaine mixed together. Your Majesty. I love Jermaine, don't get me wrong. But he's more famous in his own head, let's be real. Because he likes to think he's the second most famous Jackson.
Yeah.
Who wants to break it to him?
Nah, sorry.
You ain't got tits, brother.
Yeah.
Janet's arguably way more famous than you ever were, man. Yes, Your Majesty. But she also raised Tito's kids too, well, because of course helped raise, I should say.
Yeah.
Because sadly Tito's wife passed away when they were younger, and then he sadly passed away, which was a nice thing. When you get to the end of the film, this movie is dedicated to Tito. So, yeah,
that's cool. All right, wait, last
Your
question.
Majesty.
That's Your Majesty. Who's the most delusional Jackson before we close it out here?
Jermaine.
Yeah, I think we just covered that.
No, I take that back. LaToya.
Oh.
LaToya is definitely the most
delusional. She was a psychic, wasn't she?
Yes, LaToya is definitely the most least talented and the most notorious for that kind of shit. Yeah, which is funny because Rebby, I guess, was actually really talented. She just never did anything.
Right.
She did one song that actually hit #1, but I guess she and I guess Joe was really. That's probably why she didn't want to do it, because Joe was really pushing her to try to get her to do it. And she got married just so she'd get the fuck up out the house, just like most of the boys did. But yeah.
Yeah. I mean, didn't even LaToya do Playboy? Didn't even LaToya do Playboy? Yeah, like it's like you could tell she was, yeah.
Yeah, she tried everything she could to get attention.
She tried to be like one of them, didn't she? She wanted to be famous like them.
Honestly, Dead Man, I wouldn't be surprised if he named him after. You got to think about when this kid would have been born.
Yeah, that's about that time, isn't it?
Because he's like, what, 26, 27,
yeah,
if that?
Yeah.
But then again, I wouldn't be, honestly, with Jermaine, it's hard to say because he's Muslim, so I don't know where he would have got that name from. It's hard to say. And I think that was when he was first getting into that stuff. I don't know if it was because of the Lion King. It's probably just somebody who he knew, or a name that he liked.
You never know.
But let's get serious.
Let's get serious. Yahoo serious.
Let's get serious. That's a Jermaine song.
I know.
Let's get serious. Probably one of his most well known, other than a couple, but yeah. Dynamite album. But that's just because it's got Michael on it.
Jermaine was not Jermaine man.
Well, I mean, if anything, it's kind of weird that, like, you know, he got his son playing Michael, but like Jermaine does kind of get the shaft here in a lot of ways. Like a lot of people do, don't get me wrong, but if there was any of the brothers that was close to Michael, the closest, it was Jermaine.
Yeah.
So, and that's something that both brothers have said. And that's kind of where the joke comes in whenever Michael goes, and I love all my brothers, even Jermaine. He says that all the time. People never pick up on
I just recently found out that Michael Jackson does do the backing vocals to the
you didn't know
Rockwell
that?
song. No,
yeah,
I
because
honestly
Rockwell
didn't
was
know that.
actually was it
For,
Barry Gordy?
somebody
Barry
watching
Gordy's
you.
nephew or whatever? Yeah,
Yeah.
something like that. And he did it as a favor, yeah.
Yeah.
It's the only reason that song was a hit.
I mean, you can tell. You can tell. It's a good song, though.
It's a good, fun song,
good
but
one
it's more
for
of a
Halloween.
novelty song
Good
than
one for
anything.
Halloween,
Yeah.
But all right. Thanks, Tom, as always, for hanging out with
Yeah.
me. And, you know, thank you to everybody from Tom's side of the channel that showed up in the chat tonight and supported Tom. I appreciate that. Make sure you guys, if you haven't, subscribe to Tom's new channel, Mead 2. You got the link? If you got the link, you can post it in the chat.
They room together usually, Corley, and that's true. Usually it was Michael and Marlon, or Michael and Randy together in rooms. Or no, they were the same age, but they had the same room at home. But when they would bunk up, usually for some reason, Jermaine and Michael, because they were the two stars, would generally get the rooms together. So they ended up growing closer during touring. And that was one thing that really hurt Michael, was during when Jermaine stayed at Motown, was that he said that I don't know if I can perform without turning over to my left and not seeing you there, Jermaine. Like that was kind of his whole thing. Like he was his rock. He was his big brother that he always went to, because Jackie was already like almost an adult by the time Michael was born. So like most people don't think of it like, Jermaine kind of was more of the big brother role of Michael. Like he took over, like, I mean, even his book was basically like going to originally be called, I think, his brother's keeper or some shit like that. Like, because he was always kind of reminded that you're your brother's keeper kind of thing, you know?
Yeah, yeah. But thank you, as always, Tom, for joining me. I hope everybody enjoyed the show. Thank you, everybody in my chat and everybody watching home. Appreciate you guys. As always, make sure you like, share, subscribe here on Tom's channel. And you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
How you doing? Bitches leave.